This is the Channel 7 coverage of the 1966 Grand Final. The bounce down from umpire Montgomery. Paddy Dalton going after the ball for Perth from the bounce down. Donkin coming out with it now for the Royals to put them into attack. A high kick towards the half-forward flank. East Perth gathering the ball again up towards the centre half-forward position. The battle going on there. Through sweeps Barry Cable to take the ball away for Perth out to the far side of the ground, kicking towards the wing position. Mills going after the ball, attended there by Duffy, chasing it towards the boundary line. Pretty close to the boundary line, still picked up by Mills up towards the full forward zone with his kick. McGregor coming out there in front of Ramshaw. He's caught by Mills, gets the hand pass into it there. McGregor playing on towards the boundary line, eventually takes it over the line and out of bounds, and we have a throw-in to take place on the left half forward flank position for Perth. Ruckman getting set, Chiddleborough 29, number 1 is Brown. Murray going behind the pack, East Perth coming through to relieve the position, down towards the centre of the ground once again. Paddy Dalton coming in again, trying to gather the ball for Perth out of the centre of the scrum, gets a boot into it again towards the boundary line. Knocked on again by Perth players. Play midway between the centre half forward and centre of the ground for Perth, going into attack once again. Coming across is Donkin for East Perth, close to the boundary line, gets the kick up towards the wing position. The centreman dueling here, Jackson almost taking the mark. Perth sweeping in again and driving the ball up into the goal square. No one can put it down. Smithall chasing it towards the boundary line with Ramshaw and a throw now in that left full forward pocket for the Demons. Pretty close to the point post. Ruckman are gathered once again for the throw-in. Oh. Jancy goes high, taps the ball down onto the boot of Cable, and it's right through the middle. No mistake about it, and first blood of the 1966 Grand Final to the Demons.
Well, a good piece of play there by the ruckman, the Perth ruckman. A beautiful tap to Cable, and he made no mistake. Good football there, Ted.
Yes, he positioned himself very well for that tap down. Jack, one thing I'd like to ask you, why do they still persevere in playing the wings and their flank so much with a breeze like this?
Well, I think it's the style of the play over here, Ted, but with this breeze, long kicks right down the middle of the ground should be the order of the day.
Bounce down again in the centre. Knocked on by Kevin Murray. Perth gathering the ball again through Paddy Dalton. The hand pass going over towards Bob Shields. He gets the ball up towards the centre of the ground once again. East Perth underneath it, taking the mark there. Carl Beerman, the player, driving them into attack once again. Almost taken there by Lawrence. Drops the mark. In comes Brio of Perth. Down to the centre half forward position for Perth. The race on here. East Perth player coming up the ground, and McGregor loses possession of the ball. Picked up by Perth. The hand pass going over again to Ramshaw, driving up towards the goals. 1 point the result from the goal umpire, and Perth go away 1-1, leading East Perth yet to score.
Any decisions yet, Fred? How do you think Monty's going?
I think everything's going up nicely for an opening Jack. There's been nothing really happening. He's having a good ride at the moment.
Well, plenty of tension in the first few minutes here of the 1966 Grand Final, as a kick-in comes from Jerry Smithall taking it this time. Kicking against the breeze, kicking to the far side of the ground, and right into the arms of Cable. He drops it. He's on the half-forward flank, about 30 yards out. There goes the kick. Yes, right through the middle for the second goal to Perth and second goal to Barry Cable. Jack Sheedy.
Well, this little fellow's making no bones about it today. 2 good kicks so far and 2 goals. I think the sun might have been in his eyes then. The way he went for that ball certainly suggested it was, but recovered very quickly, and a good kick put Perth 2-1 on the board.
A very strong breeze favouring the Subiaco into the ground is certainly going to play a very important part in this match, and I see Philip Horn going onto the ball now for East Perth. There's the bounce down once again. Palestoni, number 19, gets the tap. Picked up by Graham Edwards out towards the left flank. Knocked away by Derek Chadwick. Philip Horn, number 18. Over to Sid Jackson. And there's Jackson using his pace, kicking the ball towards the forward line. Bob Page, number 27. In the back line, he's tackled hard there by East Perth. Lyons is the umpire. About 40 yards out from the East Perth goal. Bob Shields, Mel Brown picks the ball up. The scrimmage of players there, and a free kick has gone the way of East Perth. Fred Woods.
I couldn't see that one from here, Bob. I was a bit snooker, but I would say Morty's awful close to it. It must be right.
It looked good from here, Fred. He was on the pack. He threw the ball out in front, punched it out, and he was grabbed from behind.
Yeah, well, he's right there, Ted. He was right on the spot.
Ian McCulloch, the young East Perth ruckman, 40 yards out against the breeze, taking his kick for East Perth. The torpedo punt kick right into the square and touched through for 1 point. The first score to the Royals. 2 goals, 1 to Perth, 1 point to East Perth, and Mel Windsor to take the kick in.
Young O'Donoghue in the hands of the trainers out there, Bob.
O'Donoghue being attended by the trainers over on the far side of the ground, and there's a kick from Windsor right up towards the half-back line. Paddy Dalton, number 5. A good kick up towards the half-forward line. A chance here for Renshaw, and Renshaw, a beautiful mark, coming from the back, well out from the goal, nearly down to the centre half-forward position.
How far would he be at, Bob?
He's about 55 there, Ted, but he's got the breeze with him, and a good kick, this fellow. We're right behind it here. There goes the torpedo punt. He's got the distance, but it's offline and through for a further point to the Demons. Perth using the breeze effectively, Jack, as they should.
Quite good then, Bob. 2 kicks down the ground and they were in attack. So that's the place to go, right down the middle.
Well, certainly a lot of nervousness by both sides in this first few minutes. And there's Brian McGregor taking the run now, going on the outer side of the ground. And there's the East Perth vice-captain, kicking towards the centre wing. Chance for Chadwick. Knocked away by Peter Krepp. Very close to the line on the far side of the ground, and umpire Montgomery called the ball up. 6 minutes into the first quarter.
Bounce down over on the far side of the ground from umpire Montgomery. Paddy Staney goes high for the tap down. Philip Horn gathering the ball for East Perth. Down towards the right centre wing position goes the kick, out of bounds again, and a throw right on that right centre wing position for East Perth. Left centre wing for Perth. 6 minutes into this first quarter of the 1966 grand final. Paddy Staney gets the tap into it again. Jensen going after the ball for Perth. Coming through as Haynes from centre half back, gets the boot into the ball for East Perth towards that wing position once more. No one can take the mark. Perth shuffling the ball out to Paddy Dalton. Dalton's kick to the centre half forward position. Jensen underneath the ball takes the mark for Perth. Backward at centre half forward. And now the Perth Rover to drive the Demons down to the full forward zone again. The breeze right behind him. The punt kick from Jensen landing right in the goal square. Off hands it goes through for another point for Perth, and their score moves along now to 2-3. 2-3 Perth. Leading East Perth 1 point. The kick in coming quickly from McGregor this time.
Oh.
Knocked down towards Barry Cable over the line and out of bounds. A throw in that left full forward pocket. Stoney and Horn. Picked up by Paddy Staney, kicking into the goal square once again, off the fingers of Ramshaw. Picked up by McGregor, booting out towards the boundary line again. And another throw in that left full forward pocket for Perth. On the throw, East Perth bringing it away this time, getting it out towards the half-back flank and putting it over the line once again.
It's noticeable that both captain and coaches, Brian, have yet to receive a kick.
Here's the throw again. Players battling for the ball on that half-pack flank into the open spaces now. In goes Paddy Dalton. He gets the hand pass over. Perth driving it forward through the boot of Krepp up towards the full forward zone again. Coming across to relieve East Perth, get hold of the ball again through Bradley Smith and drive it out of bounds on that half-back flank once more.
Looks as though the ball's going to be out of bounds, Brian. Many
East
times
Perth playing it to bob around that far side of the ground and keeping it close to the boundary line. Ruckman set once again for that throw-in. East Perth trying to break away, caught with the ball there, and the kick is to go the way of Perth. Looks like Mills the player to take it on the left half forward flank position. Here's the kick from Mills, down to the full forward zone again. Picked up behind the pack by Perth, over to Jensen, snapping onto the boot. There it is, 3 goals to Perth coming from the boots of their Rovers, 2 from Cable, 1 there from Jensen, and Perth move along to 3-3, leading East Perth 1 point.
Well, the Perth Rovers are pretty alert around the forward line. Jensen kicked 5 in the second semi, and there's the first goal he's kicked in the game so far today.
9 minutes into this first quarter, and the Rovers playing a very important part in this first onslaught by Perth. Umpire Ray Montgomery in charge of the grand final. Back in the centre with him now. On the ball now. Sorry, Ted.
I was just going to say, I noticed the flankers, the half-forward flankers, creep right out and get those pocket forwards. A lot of room to move around in there.
Yes, they certainly are. Big Chittlebarrow getting the knock towards Jancy. Over towards the left flank. Jim Haynes, number 14. Hand pass goes astray, picked up by Sid Jackson, and East Perth go forward towards the half-forward line. Paddy Dalton had many kicks in this first quarter, and there's Dalton kicking the ball back towards the centre of the ground. Frank Pike in front, can't take the mark. Kevin Murray having his first kick. Well, he's trying to get his first kick, and he got tackled there. Here comes Cable. Over the half-forward line. Let's watch this drop kick. There it is, right into full forward. Jerry Smith will touch through for 1 point. Well, Perth taking every opportunity there of these mistakes by the East Perth players. Here's the kicking to come from Brian McGregor. Kicking once again towards the outer side of the ground, the drop kick. Out towards the half-back flank, the wind pulling it up. Picked up by Jensen. There's the kick in towards full forward. Chance for Max Jancy. Cable again. Socket into the pocket. He's still going with it. Can't get his foot to the ball. Over he went. And it's a goal. Another goal to Cable. To put the Demons 4 goals more on the board. Certainly a very handy lead at this stage.
Well, Ted, it didn't look like a goal from here, did it?
Well, I was just going to say he may get a free kick for this because he was trying to get his boot to the ball and he was pushed right through the behind post, but it was a freakish piece of football the way the ball dribbled through. From this position, Jack, it didn't even look a goal at all, but the 2 flags are up and she's on the scoreboard.
Well, we are back in the centre once again. Very handy lead now to Perth. Oh, a good knock there from young McCulloch. Up towards the half-forward line. Gary Gillespie, number 17. Kicking the ball towards the right centre wing, but right underneath is Peter Krapp. Can't mark it. Derek Chadwick, 22. Very close to the boundary line. And once again, the ball goes over the line. 4-4 Perth, 1 point East Perth.
Young O'Donoghue, Bob, looking a bit sick and sorry over there. Looks like he might have hurt a collarbone. He's got his arm up, holding it up for quite some while now.
And also Carl Beerman took a knock early. There's the throw in once again. Kevin Murray got that tap. Picked up by Ray Mills, and there's a long kick once again towards the forward line. Another chance here for Perth, 12 yards out from goals. Picked up by Ramshaw, but this time it's offline and through for 1 point. Well, the breeze is going to play a very important part, Jack.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Bob.
Tell you what, they could be a much bigger score this Perth side, only for the last line of defence there by East Perth. They've been holding them out quite well.
Brian McGregor once again. Doesn't get much distance with this one. Out towards the half-back line. Missed there by Page. McCulloch trying to come through. Finally, East Perth get the ball towards the centre of the ground, but Paddy Dalton well in front, takes the ball. The punt kick towards the goals. It's floating through, but offline and through for further point as we're 12 minutes in.
12 minutes into the 66th grand final, and the Perth score moving along now. 4 goals, 6 leading East Perth 1 point. The kicking again to come from Brian McGregor, kicking to the far side of the ground. The drop kick again into the breeze. Paddy Dalton behind the pack again.
Free kick, Brian.
Push in the back there, and the free kick going to East Perth. Looks like Captain Cage Murray, the player to take it on the half-back line for the Royals. Murray with the opportunity to get this ball out of the danger zone, boots it up towards the centre of the ground. Players setting themselves in front of the pack there, pulling down the mark is McCulloch, the ruckman for East Perth, kicking towards the boundary line, looking for Chadwick. Chadwick takes it just inside the line of the right centre wing. Down towards the half-forward line it goes, looking for Donkin there. In the way is Atwell, pretty close to the boundary line, still in play. Atwell getting it off the ground, over the line now. And a throw to come on that right half-forward flank now for East Perth. East Perth into attack, one of the rare occasions in this first quarter. Ruckman sets once again, out the back of the pack it comes. Jackson going after it for the Royals, trying to get into the clear. There goes his drop kick right up into the goal square. This one, Horn coming across after the ball.
Kick, Brian, a free kick.
Kick here from up here.
Foul behind the play with the tip.
Yeah, one behind the play there, Brian.
The ball landed about 15 yards out from the goals. You can see umpire Montgomery
There's a
standing
free-for-all on down here now. There's that
There's about 8 or 9 players going back in again 3 or 4 times.
Gee, Ray.
Still going.
One on there now. I think Kevin Murray was the first to slip in. He had a go at Atwell. I think this is one from the semi-final.
It's still on too.
Noel Brown still having a go.
This is an old tactic, this.
Well, you don't want the umpires out there, you want a referee.
Well, now, just have a look and see what difference this makes to the football from the Perth side when they settle down. They've kicked 5 or
I see
something.
Jancy going in there now. He goes pretty well at this caper, I believe.
This will be interesting to see how many reports come out of this. Fred, what about you if you're out there?
The first kick driven by Monty was 100% right, Ted.
I seen about 33 right hooks out there.
Monty was right alongside and immediately played the kick, which he must give here now.
But how many reports from that incident?
Well, I said it was very, very hard for the umpires. He's going to get one, he's got to grab the lot, Ted. It'll be very, very hard to say, to name all those players who struck each other. I'd say no reports have come out of that.
But that's a reportable incident to punch anybody.
They've got to grab the lot, Ted. They just can't pick on one. Montgomery right, giving the kick now.
Malcolm Brown, the player to take the kick, and here he is coming in for his shot only 15 yards out from the goals. He puts it right through the middle too. There's the first goal on the board to Perth, and here's O'Donoghue coming off around the boundary line.
Bad luck for young Mark O'Donoghue in his first grand final.
Certainly bad luck for the lad, Bob. But we'll see whether Perth go on and play football from here.
Well, here we are, halfway through the first quarter. 4-6 to Perth, 1-1 each Perth. There's a bounce down once again. Over the back of Paddy Stoney, and he'll take the kick.
That Monty will take quick control now and give kicks quickly.
Very good to see that one. This is when he wants to get 2 or 3 quick kicks to settle the players down now.
Well, as Ted Whitten, be interesting to see how Perth goes after that little bite on the forward line. And there's a kick from Stoney up towards the half-forward line. Brian McGregor in front, can't make it. Comes out to Jensen. He's on the half-forward line. There's the hand pass over to Big Chittleborough. Doesn't know what to do with it, but he finally gets his kick. But it's out of bounds at right full forward. Big Barry Chittleborough,
Would have been a good
6'4.5"
for Jensen to have a kick then, Bob. He was running easy enough.
I think he should have kicked it with the breeze, Jack. The throw-in to come right next to the right hand behind post. Patastoni 19, getting high in the air there. Through comes McGregor and over the line once again. Well, East Perth have one player off the ground, young Mark O'Donoghue, at this early stage of the grand final. There's the throw-in. Picked up by Cable. Play on to the umpire. Over to Jensen. Back comes Frank Pike. It was, and he's kicked right across the ground, and it's out of bounds in that left full forward pocket. Wasted opportunities there by the Perth forwards.
They're playing a lot more attention to Cable up there on the forward line now. They're playing him right alongside him.
Here's East Perth trying to get out of trouble once again, and the kick going the way of the East Perth backman. Looks like Philip Horn taking the kick. Kicking out to Donkin, but once again the ball is out of bounds. Between right full and right half back for the Royals. Kevin Murray, number 2 on the ball. Big Chittleborough and Patastoni. Some free kicks going the way of East Perth now, and once again the Royals take the kick. This time Donkin. Kicking towards the right centre wing, looking for that boundary line again, and once again the ball goes out of bounds. Fred, would you play a kick in here at all with all this kicking out?
Well, not at the moment, Bob. I think they're going to play a deliberate kick out at this stage. It's got to be 100% sure. And I would tell you, I haven't seen any today that you would definitely give a kick for.
Those comments from former umpire Fred Woods, and here's the throw-in once again. Kevin Murray down towards a half-forward flank. Barry Jennings, number 21 on the ground now for East Perth. John Bandy, number 7, very close to the line. Picked up by Peter Krepp, and once again over the line. Barry Jennings, number 21, coming onto the half-forward flank in place of Mark O'Donoghue. Oh, a bump there. It looked like a bump from here from Cable to Donkin, but Donkin has been awarded the kick. Kick towards a half-forward flank. Bob Shields missed that one. Picked up by Jennings. Is 21 minutes into the first, 18 minutes into the first quarter.
Free kick to go the way of Perth on the half-back line. Bob Shields, the player to take it for them. Shields kicking well down towards the half-forward line again for Perth. High in the air goes East Perth to pull down the mark. Bancroft it is, over from the half-back flank, driving it up towards the wing position again. Here's Krepp and Chadwick going after the ball. East Perth gathering it again, in trouble out on the half-back flank. Donkin trying to get his boot to it. It's over the line, another throw on that left half-forward flank position for Perth. Ruckman there, Big Chittleborough 29, with him Malcolm Brown of East Perth. Murray taking it behind the pack, getting into the clear to get his kick up towards the wing position once again. Looking for Jennings, can't take the mark, runs straight into a Perth defender. Perth coming out with the ball again. Edwards it is, driving it down to the centre half-forward position once more. No one can bring it down. Sweeping in comes Jensen to gather the ball. A long kick right up into the goal square once again. And there in defence down there is Bradley Smith taking the mark just a couple of yards outside from the goal line.
Playing well, these backmen, Ted.
Yes, that last line defence particularly, they've allowed a lot of scoring opportunities from them.
There's the drop kick from Smith, looking for Horn. Bancroft it is, who takes the mark down there again on the half-back line for East Perth, going towards that far boundary line once again, looking for Chadwick and finds Chatty down on the half-back flank.
I like this Jensen. Jackie's a nice mover.
Yeah, good mover.
There's the kick from Chadwick, grabbed it towards the centre wing position, out of bounds once more. East Perth working the ball around the boundary line. They have it now on their right centre wing position. and the throw-in to take place once again. Ruckman set once more, tapped behind the pack by Perth towards Jensen. Battling there with Murray and umpire Montgomery to bounce the ball down, almost in the centre of the ground. Ruckman battling once more. Malcolm Brown gets the tap into it. Tapped on again by Chadwick. Perth players converging on the ball though. It's picked up again by Edwards, driving it towards the centre half forward position. Jancy and Haynes, knocked away by Haynes. Getting a kick into the ball now towards the centre of the ground, and it's taken by Sid Jackson. Jackson just forward of the centre. Out towards the half-forward flank, looking for Bandy out here in the front position as Lawrence can't take the mark. Windsor coming out from full-back, the ball in front of him. Gets the kick into it eventually, up towards the centre of the ground, and it's marked there by Carl Bierman. Bierman now just forward of the centre to drive the Royals into attack again. There's the kick. Philip Horn is behind the pack, coming across, can't get to the ball. Picking up his Ray Lawrence on the half-back line. He's caught, handballing towards the boundary. Donkin going after it, but over the line, and a throw this time on the left half-forward flank position for East Perth. Ruckman set once again. Shields takes the tap down towards Cable. Coming through is Bandy. Picked up now by Gillespie. Gillespie gets his boot into the ball down to the full-forward zone. Horn coming out again. Takes the mark. Horn has captured this one well out from the goals. A good 45 yards out from the goals, out on the half-forward line.
There's Philip Horn, the centre half-forward for East Perth to take his kick. As Brian said, a good 45 yards out against the breeze. Certainly take a good kick. He's going for the short one to John Bandy, but it's going to stray. And right in the arms of Bill Lucy. A silly short pass there by Philip Horn. Here's Bill Lucy, the Perth back pocket player, getting Perth out of trouble towards the half-back flank. Greg Brio and Gary Gillespie. The Tiger, this young Gillespie. There he is, battling his way through. Over to Carl Bierman. Bierman's kick towards the forward pocket. Bill Lucy once again, and he pulls down the mark. Bill Lucy, 160 games for the Demons and still going strong. There's the kick towards the centre wing. Panastoni and Bradley Smith from behind takes the mark. Here's the youngest player in the ground, came up from Bunbury this year and certainly playing well in this grand final. Kicking towards the half-forward line, looking for Bierman. Can't mark it. On the half-forward line now, socket by Donkin. A chance here as Bierman picks the ball up in the pocket. Back to Donkin. East Perth trying to break forward. Here's Donkin having a shot towards goal, but it's offline and out of bounds in that left full forward pocket. Well, East Perth battling against the breeze, trying to get this major on the board. And certainly a great battle here in this first quarter. Boundary umpire Ken Hart to throw the ball in. Patterstone once again, rucking well in this first quarter. Phil Tierney, back to Donkin. There's Donkin's kick right in towards the square. A chance here for Graham Edwards, and Edwards takes the mark in the last line of defence. Defence certainly on top in both sides as Graham Edwards kicks towards the half-back line on the outer side of the ground. Here's Atwell, and Malcolm Atwell, captain coach of Perth, takes that mark. There's Atwell's kick towards the centre of the ground. Great pack of players in there. Out comes Pike with the ball. There's Pike's kick. Right underneath this one, a torpedo punt kick towards the forward line. Graham Ramshaw in front. And Ramshaw takes a beautiful mark there. About 35 yards out directly in front of the Perth goal.
That was a strong mark, Jack.
Lovely mark, that with the breeze carrying the ball. Could have well been well underneath it, but held it very well.
There's Graham Ramshaw's kick. No mistake about this one, and there's the 5th goal on the board to the Demons.
Well, I was beginning to think that East Perth might hold out for a while. They were playing very well that last 10 minutes, but that goal to Perth has lifted them, put them back in the firing line. I think they need to be 4 or 5 in front, Ted, wouldn't you, with this breeze at the end of the quarter?
You mentioned it was a 4 to 5 goal breeze, Jack. I certainly would agree with you because it's blowing a gale. The way they're kicking that ball, they're covering a lot of distance. One kick, I thought, travelled 80 yards there before from one of the young
There's
players.
the scoreboard, 5-6 to 1-1, about 23 minutes in, and the bounce stand once again. Gary Gillespie, Sid Jackson, number 9.
That's a kick.
There's a kick from Astoney, right up towards that 4-footer. Jerry Smithall underneath it, he takes a well-judged mark. Jerry Smithall, the East Perth back pocket player, kicking towards the outer side of the ground with a good drop kick. Picked up by John Bandy. Kicking towards the flank to Malcolm Brown, and Brown takes another well-judged mark. Well, these players judging this ball well with this very strong breeze. There's big Malcolm Brown kicking the ball towards the half-forward line, but once again it's gone over the line. A very big crowd here on their toes for this grand final urging their respective sides on. And there's the throw in. Bradley Smith gets a tap. Missed there by Atwell. Out goes Atwell. Malcolm Atwell flat on the ground there. Umpire Montgomery called the ball up. And once again to be thrown in. Bradley Smith, number 20.
Atwell going to get a kick there?
No kick that
I don't
time.
think he thought he wasn't.
There's McCulloch. 25 minutes into the first quarter.
Sentiment dealing there, picked up there by Chadwick. The whistle sounding over the shoulder, says umpire Montgomery.
It's like an evener up there.
I reckon it was.
Hey?
Kicks to go the way of Paddy Dalton in the centre of the ground to drive Perth on attack again. The kick from Dalton looking for Pike out on the half-forward line. A beautiful pass, thuds onto the chest of Pike at left half-forward. And now Perth with the breeze behind them. The closing minutes of the first quarter into attack again.
How far is
Look
that,
at that,
Ted?
will you? He's kicked the leather off it.
Landing in
Look
the
at
goal.
that, will you? Gosh, that's covered 90 yards. He's kicked the leather off it.
That by another 10, and it's right through the middle again for
Hey.
another goal to Perth.
That's the way they kick them in WA, Ted.
90 yards.
Hey. Doesn't look as if we're going to come down.
6 goals, 6 now. Perth leading East Perth 1 goal, 1.
What a fantastic kick.
Perth getting underneath the ball and making every use of this breeze. Umpire Montgomery in possession again in the centre of the ground to get the ball into play once more. There's the bounce down. Ruckman set again. Up they go. East Perth get the knock through. Malcolm Brown grabbed by Donkin over the shoulder again, and Donkin to take the kick away from the centre. 26 minutes of play gone in the first quarter of the grand final. Here's the East Perth Raver drop kicking towards the centre half forward position. Big pack in the air. Chadwick coming across again from the wing. He nearly has his head pulled off. Plays on with the ball there. Out towards Bradley Smith, knocked away there by Malcolm Atwell. You can hear the roar from the crowd. Chadwick going after it towards the boundary line. Trying to get into the clear, going after the ball again. Runs into 2 or 3 Perth players. Perth winning the day, bringing it away once again. The hand pass going over now. And Perth into attack, right down towards the full forward zone. Goes the kick, almost a mark down there. Ramshaw going back after it again. Bancroft coming over to meet him. The ball high in the air out on the half-forward line for Perth. And there's a beautiful mark for Perth. Jensen, the player, high in the air to pull it down. Well, these Ravers have been extremely damaging as far as Perth is concerned. Cable has kicked 2. Jensen already has 1 to his credit. 27 minutes of play gone, and Jensen to take a shot at the goals. There's the kick. Pack flying in the goal square. Hands get to it just a couple of yards out. Picked up by Smith, all of East Perth. He drives out towards that boundary line again. There's a well-judged mark on the half-back line taken by Duffy. Duffy playing on quickly up towards the wing position. Krepp and Chadwick going after the ball out there. Whistle sounding from umpire Montgomery. And looks as if the kick is to go the way of the Perth player Krepp on the left centre wing. 6 goals, 6. Perth leading East Perth 1 goal, 1. A 5-goal-5 lead to the Devons in the first quarter of the 66 grand final. Here's the kick from Perth from the left centre wing, going towards centre half forward once again. Jensen in the front position, but the mark taken behind this time by Jerry Smithall up from the back pocket. Smithall driving again for that wing position. Players high in the air there, no one can bring it down. East Perth going after the ball and getting a boot into it through Donkin up towards half forward. Shields and Dattini in the air. Malcolm Atwell knocking the ball down. Paddy Dalton on the scene there too. Bounce beats him though. Players battling for it on the half-forward line. East Perth shovel it out towards Jackson. He can't handle it either. Hips and shoulders going in. Dalton gets hold of it again. Gets it over to Cable. A beautiful drop kick from Cable up to the half-forward line. Punched away by an East Perth defender. 28 minutes of play gone. The ball in the left full forward pocket for Perth.
Knocked over by Ray Mills in that forward pocket. Picked up by Ramshaw. He's tackled hard. And the ball goes over the line in that left full forward pocket. Well, a great opportunity there missed by East Perth on that half-forward line to break through. Phil Teeney has come out to centre half forward in that first quarter. And out of bounds once again in the same position. The first quarter drawing to a close, and Perth with a very handy lead. Malcolm Brown number 1, Patterstone 19. Over to Donkin, the kick towards the half-back line. Looked like over the back to Chadwick, with play on says the umpire. And this time the kick goes the way of East Perth, a push in the back. 29 minutes gone. Young Duffy, the half-back flanker for the Royals to take the kick. And Duffy playing in his first grand final for the Royals. Kicking the ball towards the right centre wing. Chance for Jackson and Dalton. Number 5, through comes Donkin. He's kicking towards a half-forward flank, and a good mark there to young Barry Jennings. Jennings on the half-forward flank. East Perth running out of time in this first quarter. A drop kick in towards the forward area. Big pack of players. Phil Teeney, number 3, can't take it. Picked up again by Donkin. Young Bandy loose in the forward pocket, but he can't get it over to him, and through comes Pat Dalton. Tackled by Teeney. A kick to the centre. Sid Jackson, and Jackson takes the mark. A great effort there by Jackson. He had a Perth player coming in towards him. Ted Whitten called out, hit him, but he didn't hear him, and Jackson took the mark. There's a kick from Jackson, the wind pulling it up. And Beerman has been awarded the kick on the half-forward line as we're 30 minutes in. Carl Beerman at centre-half forward. Not many leads offering. The kick going towards the forward area. Philip Hall, and there's a good mark to Mal Windsor. The Demons fall back.
Bit of a nudge early, didn't it, Fred?
Oh, battling
Bit of a
well
nudge
there from Hall.
I think, yeah, but Monty was way up here, Ted. He couldn't see it.
There's a good kick from Windsor, right back to the centre ground. Mal Brown, and Brown once again takes the mark. Many good marks taken by both sides in this first quarter. Brown kicking towards the half-forward flank, missed by Chittleborough. Carl Beerman, Bradley Smith. Knocked away by Shields. Carl Beerman, 23. Back in the centre of the ground. Hotly pursued there by Page. The kick towards Jackson. Jackson's at half forward. There's the kick towards full forward towards Philip Horn. And he takes the mark. 20 yards out from the East Perth goals and 31 minutes in. And Philip Horn to take his kick.
Here he is, Philip Horn. Of course, as we know, kicked 8 goals last week in the preliminary final. He's only 15 to 20 yards out from the goals, directly in front, and lining them up, and East Perth could do this with this one very, very badly in the closing minutes of the first quarter. Here he is, Philip Horn, the drop punt. No mistake about it, right through the middle, and that's the second goal to East Perth. Perth leading 6-6, East Perth 2 goals, 1.
Well, a very valuable goal to Philip Horn. With only a matter of, must be seconds to go of this first quarter, and East Perth have picked up another goal, making them 2-1 to the 6-6 of Perth. Pretty handy one, Fred, at this stage.
Yeah, it's my word it is, Jack. I bet Kevin Murray's a little bit happy with that one.
The breeze still blowing strongly, and well worth every bit of 4 or 5 goals. The bounce down again from umpire Montgomery in the centre. Down towards Paddy Dalton, trying to come out with it for Perth. Perth gathering the ball through the agency of Trepp towards the half-forward line.
He might have a shot. Teddy kicked one from there last time.
That's Frank Pike driving it down to the full-forward zone. Marked down there again by Malcolm Atwell in the centre half-forward position. Perth captain Coach out at centre half forward. The breeze right behind him. He'll put this one up in the air and let the wind do the rest. There's the kick from Atwell. Plenty of distance in this one. Wait on the goal umpire. 1 point the result only. And 6-7 goes the Perth tally to East Perth 2-1. Again, we'll have McGregor to bring the ball into play for the Royals, and can be only very little time left before we hear the siren to bring to a close this first quarter in the 66 grand final.
All a quarter as long as this, Brian, there's going to be some very tired players.
There's the siren sounding now, and at quarter time the score, Perth 6 goals 7, leading East Perth 2 goals 1. Second quarter, and the Perth into attack against the breeze. Coming across from the flank is Mills, picked up by Duffy. Mills going back after it again, working it down towards the goals. Coming out as McGregor to gather it for East Perth back into the centre of the ground. Jackson almost taking the mark, getting it off the ground now. Up towards half-forward territory for East Perth. Lawrence coming over from the flank. Back into the centre of the ground goes the kick from Lawrence over the head of Haynes. Picking up here East Perth is Bancroft, can't get the boot into the ball. Perth getting it over to Pike. Pike driving up towards the full-forward zone. It's off the side of the boot into the pocket. Bradley Smith is there, with him is Patterstone. Ramshaw shepherding well. Handball going over now towards Pike once again. Pike still chasing the ball. It's working its way back towards the centre of the ground. Eventually Kevin Murray going in, and the whistle sounding. Murray to take the kick in the centre half back position for East Perth. There's the kick from Murray down towards the East Perth centre half forward position. Shields almost taking the mark, backed up by Lawrence from the half back flank. Lawrence gets the ball over towards the wing position. Here's Chadwick flying. Murray coming across, having the ball in front of him. Crepp is there too. Chadwick going back after it again for East Perth. He goes to the ground, shakes off the tackle from Jancy. Chadwick getting the boot into the ball down towards the East Perth half-forward line. Jennings going after it, with him is Atwell, pretty close to the line. They take it over the line and out of bounds on the right half-forward flank. Well, Perth very quickly into attack in the first few seconds of the second quarter into the breeze. Couldn't capitalise on it. The throw on the half-forward line for East Perth.
Oh, no kick.
Kevin Murray trying to get a boot into the ball. Over towards Donkin. Picking up now is Crepp of Perth. Back towards the wing position over the head of Chadwick. Mills coming up. The bounce beats him. Picked up by Duffy. And again, they take it over the line and a throw in this time on the right centre wing position for East Perth. Perth 6-7, East Perth 2-1 in the opening minutes of the second quarter of the grand final. Ruckman set once again. Barry Cable battling here with Chadwick. Cable still going after the ball. Picking up now is Chiddleborough. He drives it down to the full forward zone. Bradley Smith coming across from the back pocket takes the mark for East Perth.
Good pair of hands, this fellow, Brian.
Good
Marking
lad,
well today.
17-year-old.
Not a bad type at all, isn't he? A big boy.
There's his kick to the centre of the ground once again. Players battling there, knocked away by Perth. Page trying to regather it. Cable going after it now.
Scalped him.
Kevin Murray goes all over the top of Cable, and Cable to take the kick right on the centre of the ground for Perth. Here it is, out towards the half-forward flank. Jerry Smithall in the front position takes the mark for East Perth.
A lot of these chaps not watching the ball. Set into the breeze. They want to be in front and get the front posse.
Well, that's right, particularly with a strong breeze kicking into it. They can't mark from behind, Jack. I'll agree there. They must position themselves in front because it's certainly going to drop short.
Here's the kick from the back pocket specialist Smithall of East Perth. Down towards the Royals half-forward line. Almost brought down by Tierney. Dalton getting a boot into it, picked up by Murray. Murray driving it up towards the full-forward pocket position there. Perth defenders coming out.
There's the ball back towards the half-back line, and well marked there by Pat Dalton. On the member stand flank now, coming towards the wing. Chadwick and Stoney. Tapped over to Peter Krepp. There's Krepp kicking towards Jancy. Missed by Jancy, but quickly recovers. Plays on in the centre of the ground. Battling there with young Gillespie. And Gillespie held without the ball and would take his kick in the centre of the ground. Gary Gillespie, the East Perth wingman. Kicking towards the half-forward line with the breeze. Bob Shields high in the air there with Phil Tierney. On the centre half-forward line for East Perth. Picked up again by Dalton. Had many, many kicks in this game up to date. And there's his marksman Jackson. Missed that one. McCulloch trying to come through. Phil Tierney. Over to Jennings. They were right behind this one. And it looks good from here. Yes, there's a very valuable goal to the Royals. 6-7 Perth, 3-1 East Perth, Jack Sheedy.
Well, Barry Jennings has come on the ground as a replacement for young Mark O'Donoghue, and that's one of the first kicks of the game he's had so far, and a good one too. Some hectic umpiring decisions there, Fred. Would you comment on those?
Yeah, well, I think Monty's doing the right thing, Jack. He had a bad fight early in the game. Now he's given a few kicks to settle the players down. He's letting the game roll along nicely at the present moment. Very good job.
There's the bounce down once again. Malcolm Brown and Pat Stoney. Stoney gets a tap, but it goes to Jackson. There's Jackson's kick well into the forward line. Chance here for Tierney and Shields. Philip Horn it was, knocked away. Bob Shields. Tackled hard by Donkin. And holding the ball, says umpire Oates.
Quite right, too.
Very, very good decision. Monty had the angle lovely there and had no doubts in giving the kick, definitely holding the ball.
Well, Fred Wood says that decision was right, and Keith Donkin, the player who's had the most kicks on the ground, his 10th kick coming up. 50 yards out with a breeze behind him.
A nice tackle too.
It was a good tackle, Brian. And here's Keith Donkin, the state rover. The torpedo punt kick, but it doesn't get much distance. Out towards the pocket, missed by McCulloch, and out of bounds in that right full forward line. Donkin's had the most kicks up to date, followed by Paddy Dalton and Barry Cable. McCulloch, 44. Umpire Montgomery once again to bounce the ball in that right full forward pocket.
I see Atwell's gone on the ball, Jack.
We're having a run, changing with Page on a half-back flank.
Perth running 5 ruckmen apparently. There's the hit in once again and forced through for 1 point to the Royals to bring them to 3 goals 2. Perth 6 goals 7 in the first 5 minutes of this second quarter. And Mel Windsor to kick the ball into play. Kicking once again towards the outer side of the ground. Kevin Murray high in the air, can't take that one. And the mark has been, no, it hasn't been awarded to Perth. But there's the free kick
there, Bob.
The free kick going the way of Greg Brio.
Well, he could have paid the mark.
Got it right,
It looked like a mark from here.
Greg Brio, the Perth wingman, take his kick on the half-back line. The drop kick towards the wing. Sid Jackson, number 9, but in the back. Graham Jensen it is to take the kick. Perth rover on the right centre wing.
Can't do that, son.
Mel Brown trying to come from behind, but whistle back by umpire Montgomery.
10 yards.
Could have got 15 yards.
15.
There's the kick, Frank Pike on the right half-forward flank. There's the left footer, kicking towards the half-forward line. Through comes Brian McGregor, bursting his way through. Up towards the centre line, there goes his kick. up towards the half-forward line to John Bandy, and he takes the mark. John Bandy on the left half-forward flank, taking that mark.
It's a nice piece of football there from that big fellow. What was his name?
McGregor, the fullback.
Bandy takes his kick, and we're 6 minutes in.
And it's right through the middle, too, for the beat of John Bandy. 4 points on the board again to East Perth. Perth holding the lead, 6 goals, 7. East Perth coming back now, 4-2.
Well, a lovely drop kick from young John Bandy. Certainly augurs well for East Perth's prospect with the breeze. They've been playing about 7 or 8 minutes, and Whittle Perth scored now, and they're only 2-5 behind with plenty of time to go in this quarter.
Players set again for the bounce down in the centre. Umpire Montgomery ready to get the game into play once more. There's the bounce high in the air. Ruckman after it once again. Perth trying to take it forward from the centre. Paddy Stoney, the ruckman, coming out with it. Kicks it down towards the full forward zone. Bradley Smith misses it from the back pocket. The race on towards the flank. McGregor going after it.
Oh, that's a kick.
Got to get one.
Yes, and umpire Montgomery running over now. The kick is certainly to go the way of Perth out there. And Frank Pike is the player to take it right on the boundary line on the right half-forward flank. The drop kick from Pike into the pocket. Knocked away by Bradley Smith over the line and out of bounds in the right full forward pocket now for Perth. Up go the ruckman again. Chittleborough gets the tap in. Along comes Cable. Snaps it onto the boot and right through. 4 points to Perth against the breeze. 7-7. East Perth 4-2.
He's a good footballer, Ted, this fella.
Well,
Little bloke.
I watched him over here 2 years ago, and when he came to Melbourne, and this year in Hobart, I thought his football had improved tremendously. He won the Tassie medal and quite rightly deserved it. And today, his performance here, you know, he'd be a great success in Melbourne. There's no doubt about it. He's got the same style of Skilton.
That's 4 goals now from the beat of Barry Cable for Perth. The bounce in the centre again. East Perth coming out for this time down to Gillespie. The hand pass quickly over to Jackson, looking for Donkin on the half-forward line. Donkin going to regather the ball. Is caught by Lawrence, handballing into the open spaces. Off the ground by Bandy. Here's Cable on the scene again for Perth. Picked up now by Bierman. The hand pass going over to Jackson, running down from the centre. Jackson's met heavily. Over now to Barry Jennings, straightening up for a shot at the goal.
Oh, he's going to bring it back, Brian. It's a kick.
Jackson's kick.
Jackson met pretty heavily there, and the kick is to go the way of the East Perth centreman, well down from the centre. He's right down to the full forward zone.
Looked a pretty fair bump, Fred.
Yeah, but I think as after the ball went forward, Ted, they still held hold of Jackson, and Monty was right there to see it.
No,
good decision.
Well, here's Sidney Jackson to take his shot.
These are the ones that are always missed, these easy ones, aren't they? Jackie boy?
I like to get it in front of him. Like to be on the move.
45 yards out with the breeze behind him. The drop punt, no mistake about this one. Right through the middle for a very good goal there to Sid Jackson.
He's a good player too, Bob.
Yes, he's a very good player.
Moves around quick, Jackson. He covers plenty of ground. East Perth usually have a man dropping back into the centre and letting Jackson roam into the forward line. That was no exception. He went right down the field. I thought Atwell's bump looked all right to me, but as our former umpire Fred Wood said, they hung on to Jackson too long, and he was awarded the free kick.
Paddy Dalton on top of Jackson in the first quarter, but Jackson coming back now with his side kicking with the breeze. 7 goals, 7 Perth. 5 goals, 2 East Perth. Umpire Montgomery once again. Mel Brown, number 1. He gets the tap. Over to Gillespie. There's the kick towards a half-forward line. Phil Tierney. And Tierney in front takes a well-judged mark there in front of the pack. Well, Kevin Murray didn't take long to make the switch today between Phil Tierney and Philip Horn, which worked so well last week. Here's Phil Tierney at centre half forward, taking his kick. Torpedo punt kick. It'll get the distance, but it's off the line to the left and through for 1 point. East Perth moves to 5 goals, 3. Perth 7-7.
East Perth seem to be playing much better football at present, I'm sure, in their handling of the ball, and they want it much more than Perth, I think.
I think it makes a lot of difference, Jack, kicking with this breeze. It
Oh,
gives them
for
more
sure.
confidence. Mel Windsor kicking the ball into play. Oh, not a good one this time. Keith Donkin, and Donkin takes the mark. Well, very hard for these fullbacks, kicking in against this strong breeze. And Donkin about 50 yards out with the breeze behind him, directly in front. Keith Donkin been a very busy rover for the Royals right from the jump, and here goes his kick. The punt kick, we'll wait on this one. No, says the goal umpire. Further points of the Royals were wasted opportunities up there with the breeze.
Which pocket would you favour kicking off, Jack, if he was coaching one of these sides?
I just had a look a minute ago, Ted. I thought he's kicking in, certainly into the stiff breeze. I might switch and go the other side.
There's Mel Windsor taking the punt kick this time. Gets further distance out towards the half-back line. Comes to the ground, picked up by Pike, running on the ball now and down towards the flank. And Philip Horn missed that one. We're 12 minutes into the second quarter.
Over towards Gillespie. He's tackled pretty solidly.
Good tackle.
The kick is to go the way of Perth out there. Tackled very quickly, and the free kick to go the way of Perth on the half-back line.
He was sweating on him, wasn't he, Jack?
Yeah.
Had the drop.
There's Brio to take the kick for Perth, backward of his right centre wing position. Gets it up towards the wing. Page went high in the air. Kevin Murray trying to come out with it. They shovel it off the ground. Jim Haynes there too. Perth gathering the ball. The hand pass over to Cable. Cable driving down to the full forward zone with this one. Bounce beats an East Perth player. Picked up by Smithall, backing up in the back pocket. Smithall drives towards the boundary line on the half-back flank. Murray going after it. Jancy coming across too. Picked up by Haynes. Haynes onto the boot up towards the wing. Brio and Gillespie going after it. Still in play. Brio coming out with the ball for Perth. The kick smothered there. Picked up now by Gillespie. Over to Malcolm Brown. Brown with a long kick right up to the full forward zone. This will land in the goal square. Touched by East Perth hands and through for another point to the Royals.
Covering some journey with these kicks.
Doesn't take long to whiz it from one end to the other, Jack.
Jack, I know Perth are running 5 ruckmen and 3 rovers to keep the pressure on.
Mel Windsor again to bring the ball into play. The drop kick this time. Knocked away by Shields. Picked up by Perth, close to the boundary line, up towards the wing position, diving after the ball as Gillespie gets hold of it just inches above the ground and has the ball on the left half forward flank. Kick from Gillespie isn't a good one towards the centre half forward position. Brown in the front position is hit by the pack. Perth gather the ball. The hand pass over to Dalton. Hand passing again now. Over to Stoney. They get it up towards the centre of the ground. The race is on here. After the ball goes Krepp. Right behind him is Chadwick. Krepp getting the boot into it. Over now towards Mills on the half-forward line. Mills in the clear. There goes the drop kick from Mills. This is right up into the goal square too. Punched away by Bradley Smith. Still in play in the pocket. Perth picking it up through Ramshaw. On a very acute angle. Runs in and puts it through for 1 point. 7-8 Perth. 7-8. Leading East Perth 5-5.
Well, Graham Ramshaw couldn't have made that any harder for himself. I think he had a chance of running away from the goals and hooking it back, but he made the angle very, very acute.
And now McGregor to bring the ball into play for the Royals. Punt kicks it up towards the centre of the ground. The players setting themselves there. Stanley knocks it down, picked up by Paddy Dalton. Dalton looking for Cable, in the way is Duffy, can't take the mark. Picked up by Ramshaw, hand pass over to Ray Mills. This will land in the goal square, but nobody home for the Perth, and picked up by Bradley Smith from the back pocket. Out towards the wing position goes the kick. East Perth coming up the ground to take it through Jennings, picked up now by Paddy Dalton. Dalton popping the ball over here, looking for Mills. Barry Cable on the spot too. He's caught by Duffy. Over now to Peter Krepp. The hand pass over to captain coach Malcolm Atwell. Well shepherded by Montgomery. Atwell gets the ball up towards the full forward zone. Onto the chest again of Bradley Smith, defending well in that back
forwards letting Perth down.
I think they're going to kick 1,000,000 yards, Jack, against this breeze.
Young Bradley Smith playing well in defence for East Perth, and his kick hits the centre of the ground. Picked up by Beerman, and there's the kick towards the half-forward line for the Royals. And a well-judged mark there too, Frank Pike in defence. Pike running on the ball at this stage. There's the kick towards the wing position. Chadwick 22, Peter Krepp number 8. On the half-forward line there, players going right, left and centre. Finally picked up by Tierney. And Tierney will take the kick on the right half-forward flank.
Perth are running an extra man in defence. They've got Pike, a half-forward flanker, down running loose in the back line. I don't know whether this is very good tactics.
I wouldn't try it so early, Jack, particularly when they're being well on top. Possibly in the last quarter they could do this if they could get a few in front and hit them home.
Phil Tierney in front of the public stand to take his kick. Oh, it's not a good one. It's off the side of the boot and out of bounds and right full forward. Well, many opportunities being wasted by both sides in the forward area. Here's a throw in once again. Mel Brown, number 1, and Patterstone having a great duel in the ruck, these two. Picked up by Shields. Out towards Jensen. He's in the pocket. He can't make it, and over the line once again in that left full-back pocket. Well, the big crowd expecting great things from this game, but the wind spoiling it to a degree at the moment. There's the knock-in from McCulloch. Play on, says umpire Montgomery. Threw his foot at the ball, and rightly so, he said play on. And there's the ball now in the centre half-forward position. Up towards Ray Lawrence. Lawrence getting his kick towards the wing. But there's Kevin Murray underneath it to take a well-judged mark. Kevin Murray to send his side into attack. Up towards the forward area with a good kick. But it's all Perth there. And Mel Windsor, the fullback, once again taking the mark. Electing to kick towards the centre of the ground this time, but it's not a good one. Goes towards Atwell, he can't take it. Over to Murray once again. Murray hooking the ball back towards the square. He'll get the distance, but offline once again, and a further point to the Royals. Well, many opportunities being wasted up there, Ted.
Yes, I think they're under pressure when they're having these shots for goals, but both back lines are playing very, very strong, and where East Perth has got on top is when they've penetrated their goals with their long kicks to position, and it's going to be very interesting.
There's Mel Windsor taking the run off this time, kicking towards the half-back line. Great pack of players out there, but there's a good mark too, East Perth. And McCulloch. Young McCulloch only played 4 games for the Royals and playing in his first grand final. It's not a good kick, but it goes towards the half-forward line, and Phil Teeney takes the mark between left half and left full forward as we're 18 minutes in.
Now Teeney with an opportunity to bring up a score for East Perth. Watch him carefully as he lines up the drop punt this time. Phil Teeney of East Perth onto the boot. Right through the middle. Nice goal from the boot of Phil Teeney, and he puts it through to bring up the 7th goal for Perth now. For East Perth, Perth leading 7 goals 8. That is the 6th goal to East Perth, 6 goals 6.
Well, that was certainly a lovely goal to Teeney. I feel that Perth backman a bit at fault then, and well, he got away quite easily from Shields, and even though it was a missed kick, Shields was still 10 or 15 yards away from Teeney, and of course he made no mistake about the kick.
Players set for the bounce down in the centre once again. Stoney and McCulloch. McCulloch gets the tap into it. Jackson gathering it from the centre for East Perth. Down towards the half-forward line. Donkin going after it. Here's Lawrence up from the half-back flank. Hand pass over to Stoney. Perth up towards their half-forward line. Duffy dropping back with him as Mills. Mills with plenty of pace getting into the open spaces. Play right behind him is Haynes. Mills still with the ball. Gets it onto the boot. Bouncing in the goal square. Over the head of McGregor it goes. And 1 flag the result.
The luck of the bounce there, Brian.
Through for 1 point just over the fingers of McGregor. Bounced in the square, went the wrong way as far as Perth were concerned, and another 1 pointer on the ball to Perth to take them to 7-9. The kick in from Brian McGregor. Drop kick to the centre half back position. And there's Max Jancy pulling down the mark for Perth. Handballing on quickly to Barry Cable. Smith coming up from the pocket to meet him. Smith gathering the ball, drops it onto the boot. Over towards Bancroft. Cable dives in, picked up by Stoney, shooting it up towards Ramshaw. With him is McGregor. Here's McCulloch bursting his way out with the ball for East Perth up towards the centre of the ground. Crept high in the air over the top of Chadwick, picked up by Jancy. He goes to the ground. In the back says umpire Montgomery. And Jancy will take the kick in the centre half forward position for Perth. Here's the big centre half forward for Perth. Kicking into the breeze.
All Perth men behind their backmen.
The drop kick from Jancy. East Perth defenders behind the pack. Smithall trying to gather it. About 15 yards out from the goals. Tries to get it off the ground. Picked up by Stoney. Over to Jensen onto the beat. Quickly and 2 points again. The Rovers of Perth strike once again. There's the 8th goal on the board to East Perth. 8 goals 9 leading Perth 6-6.
Well, good football by Paddy Stoney there. Very quick thinking. Picked that ball up and shot it to Jensen. Knew Jensen was behind him, and Jensen made no mistake. Certainly quick thinking by Stoney. Feel their forward line's got to function a bit better though, Ted. They've got to get the front posse.
Well, I agree with everything you've said there. It's the when the ball's coming out, they're all playing from behind, but it's the smaller men on the ground that's been more constructive. But they're playing well, both sides. Their football's improved a lot.
There's the bounce down once again. Kevin Murray trying to battle his way through in the centre of the ground up towards the half-forward line. Donkin it is, number 15. Over to John Bandy. He's at half-forward. There goes the drop kick. Into that forward line. A great battle going on there between 2 or 3 players, and umpire Montgomery looks like bouncing it.
Could have been failing. Monty was just a bit too far away from it. Talking about this wind, Jack, it's very difficult for an umpire. Monty was right with the play there a second earlier. They kick a 60 yards down the field and he's that far behind.
Those comments from Fred Woods as the ball comes out to Barry Cable. Holding the man, and he plays on, but he's going to be brought back to take his kick in that left full-back pocket. Cable taking a bit of punishment there, but he's quite okay.
Well, he said to bring him back there, Bob. Cable was over his mark, and the law says you must go back behind your mark to kick it. Definitely right to bring him back.
Thanks, Fred, and there's a kick from Frank Pike out towards the left centre wing. Kevin Murray in there battling with Atwell, but there's a good mark to young Peter Krepp in between the two of them to take that mark.
I think Atwell and Murray were having a little fight of their own, and I forgot about the other fellow.
Well, both very keen, these captain coaches, to win this game, and there's a kick from Krepp. Barry Jennings, a hand pass, but it goes towards Sid Jackson. But he's hotly pressed there and well picked up by Paddy Dalton, kicking to the centre of the ground into the arms of Graham Bancroft. Once again towards the half-forward flank. John Bandy and Ray Lawrence. Sid Jackson, number 9. A trip there. Yes, quite rightly so by umpire Montgomery, and Sid Jackson to take the kick. Nothing in this game, 8-9 to 6-6 in favour of the Royals, and the Royals kicking towards the Subiaco end with a very strong breeze. Sid Jackson, the East Perth centre man. Ray Lawrence on the mark. Torpedo punt kick. There's plenty of distance in this one. Direction is right, and a very valuable goal out of the Royals.
Well, they're certainly kicking some goals today. That one of Jackson's then right through the middle from about 60 yards out. No trouble whatsoever, and only makes the difference, what?
9 points.
9 points.
Some good kicking, Ted.
They say put a tiger in your tank. What do you put in your footballs over here?
Oh, they're good kicks in Western Australia, different to those Victorian blokes. There's the bounce down once again. Barry Chittlebarrow battling with McCulloch, picked up by Chadwick, up towards the half-forward line. Phil Teeney and Shields, well done by Teeney. There's the boot from Teeney up towards full forward. It's right in the square, but pushed through for 1 point to the Royals. Plenty of fire in the game in this second quarter. Mel Windsor to kick the ball into play. A good kick from Windsor this time on the outside towards the half-back flank, and well marked there by Perth. Young Barry Chittlebarrow hasn't had many marks today, this big fellow, but marking that one well. Chittlebarrow kicking towards the centre of the ground. Pat Dalton just can't take it. Out comes Jackson. And there's Jackson looking for the half-forward, kicking towards that position, but well marked there by Page. Back to the centre of the ground, non-stop football at the moment. And there's a pass from Haynes right at the arms of young Barry Jennings. Barry Jennings between the centre position and half forward with a breeze behind him will certainly drive this into the full forward area. 19th man came on in the first quarter when O'Donoghue went off, and there's a drop kick towards full forward. Nobody can mark it. It comes out towards the pocket. Phil Teeney trying to battle 3 or 4 Perth players there. No backing up from East Perth, and Perth get out of trouble towards Barry Chittlebarrow once again. Chittlebarrow steadying the game now on the half-back line. Not a good kick. Over to Gillespie, showing plenty of pace, and there's his kick back towards the half-forward line. Missed there by Perth, a chance for Cable. Cable on the half-back line, showing plenty of pace this fellow, and here he comes once again. And there's the kick towards the left centre wing, but in the arms of Duffy. Well tackled there by Ray Mills. Picked up by Mills and put over the line and out of bounds in front of the member stand as we're 25 minutes into the second quarter.
We'll throw in almost on the centre wing position at Subiaco Oval in the grand final. 25 minutes of play gone in the second quarter. The ruckman gathered again for the throw-in. Malcolm Brown goes high, gets the thump into it. Page coming up from half-back. East Perth getting the kick into it now through Jennings. Looked like an elbow or something going in after the kick, and umpire Montgomery right on the spot has awarded the kick. That looks like to Krepp.
Ted, notice how the players are being sucked up the ground by the wind. Present there's only about half a dozen players over the centre line for Perth.
It's a lot stronger than what it looks, Jack.
Here's the kick from Krepp. Down to the wing position, big pack in the air, picked up by Jancy. Hand passes over to Jensen. Jensen drop kicking up towards Ramshaw. Here's Murray coming out of the pocket. 2 or 3 go to the ground. This allows Ramshaw in for Perth. He's at right half forward, bouncing the ball towards the goals. Murray gathering on him from behind. The kick from Ramshaw over the line and out of bounds in the right full forward pocket.
Well, Kevin Murray tried to catch him there, but he just couldn't make it.
26 minutes of play gone in the second quarter. 8-9 Perth leading East Perth 7-7. Big pack gathered for that throw in again. Up go the ruckman. Patastoni in the front position, down towards Ramshaw. Chadwick is down the thing.
Stoney playing well on the ball, Jack.
Very well.
The throw in again, right next to that point post. Stoney again high in the air, down to Jensen, snaps it onto the boot. Let's wait on this one. Again, 1 point. I thought he put up two hands for a moment. 1 point from the boot of Jensen that time, and another point goes on to the Perth score. The boundary umpire was heading for the centre of the ground for a minute too. Wait for the ball to be relayed back to McGregor now to bring it into play. Time running out in the second quarter, 27 minutes of play gone. Everybody thinks it's a goal, do they?
He's put up a goal on the board, I think, right?
Well, I put a goal down in my book too.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I thought it was a goal.
Right, here's McGregor to bring the ball into play. Everyone up in the centre thinking it was a goal, I think. The kick in almost reaches the centre of the ground. A big pack in the air. Bradley Smith claiming the mark and has been awarded to him just backward of the centre circle. Bradley Smith to drive the Royals into attack once again. Now towards the centre half forward position. East Perth in the front position, Shields from behind. No one can bring it down. Play on, says the umpire. Over eventually to Dalton. He's looking for Krepp on the wing. Finds him too with a good pass. And Krepp on the left centre wing now for Perth. It's the kick from Peter Krepp. Up towards the centre of the ground. 28 minutes of play gone. Swooping in again is Paddy Dalton. Ball's in the open spaces at centre half forward. Jensen coming down the ground for Perth. McGregor comes out. Jensen in the clear now. After him goes Bancroft. Gets it onto the boot looking for a Stoney. The back of the pack is Ramshaw, picked up now by Smithall. Gets the boot of it high in the air on the half-back line. Underneath it, Bradley Smith drops the sitter. Page is right there with him. Smith recovers gets the boot into the board. Up towards the wing position it goes. Picked up now by Jennings of East Perth. Driving it to the East Perth half-forward line. After it goes Malcolm Brown. Brown dropping onto the boot towards the goal. And through for 1 point to East Perth.
Well, there's a quick transference of play there. Nearly a goal here to Perth and up the other end and 1 point to the Royals. 8 goals, 10 Perth, 7 goals, 8 East Perth. A margin of 8 points and half-time not very far away. Malcolm Windsor to take the kick once again. Kick from Windsor against the breeze. Doesn't get a great deal of distance towards the half-back line. Donkin trying to burst his way through. Bob Shields kicking the ball towards the centre of the ground, and Kevin Murray taking a very safe mark. 29 minutes into the second quarter, and East Perth trying to bridge this gap of 8 points. Kevin Murray with the drop kick towards the half-forward line. Philip Horn holding the man, says umpire Montgomery.
What do you think of that one?
Yeah, definitely right. The player never had the ball and he was grabbed and definitely holding the man.
I reckon he had hold of the ball, Fred.
Yeah, I would have went the other way.
Would
you go the other way? I went the other way for
Your
sure.
legs would because you don't understand the game properly.
Oh,
Well, you got it or you haven't.
Well, Fred's been out there many times and he should know, and there's the kick. Right in towards the full forward area. Once again it's offline and through for the minor score. 7-9 East Perth, 8-10 Perth. 30 minutes into the second quarter. And a very interesting game in this 1966 Grand Final. Malcolm Windsor having many kick-ins. Once again towards the outer side of the ground. Oh, not getting much distance, but there's Ray Lawrence taking a good fighting mark there, about 35 yards out. Perth trying to slow the game down and hold on to this lead till half-time. Kick towards the wing. Young McCulloch was high in the air there, couldn't take it. Picked up by Brio, over to Jackson on his own. There's a drop kick from Jackson. Covers about 60 yards, right up towards the square. A chance here for East Perth, picked up by Behrman, trying to get around his opponent. There goes the left foot snap, and once again through for the minor score. Well, East Perth just can't find the big opening, Jack.
Well, they're concentrating on long kicking, Bob, particularly from the centre, which you have to do, I expect, but their forward line, like Perth, is quite congested.
31 minutes gone in the second quarter.
Mel Windsor again to bring the ball into play. Very little time to go before the half-time interval. Windsor again kicking towards that far side of the ground to the half-back flank. East Perth player high in the air, almost brought down the mark. Shields trying to come out with the ball there. Whistle sounding from umpire Montgomery, and we have a bounce down in that left full forward pocket position for East Perth. Ruckman go again, McCulloch. Teeny trying to burst his way out of the pack, gets his boot into the ball, up into the goal square again, and marked in defence there by Mel Windsor, the fullback for Perth. Kick from Windsor again towards that boundary line. Teeny it is, pulling down the mark again. Teeny coming into the play prominently in the last few minutes, has the ball out on the boundary line on the left half forward flank. He's taking a lot of care with this one too as he comes in for the kick. Up towards the full forward pocket it goes. Perth defenders trying to sweep on it there. Bill Lutzy bursts out of the pack with it for the Demons. Touching the ground with it around the back pocket position. The hand pass eventually going over to Estoni. Hand passing again towards Brio. Back it goes to Gillespie of East Perth. Gillespie driving towards the full forward pocket position, out of bounds once again in that left full forward pocket.
Well, Lutzy timekeepers going on, have they?
Lutzy wouldn't kick it there because there was 5 East Perth chaps waiting on the wing. Yeah, very long quarters, Jack.
Throw in again in that pocket position. Ruckman going high once more. Kicks it a premium up there. East Perth coming out with the ball. Can't get a boot into it though. Mal Atwell trying to soccer off the ground. Picked up eventually by Ray Lawrence. He goes to the ground too. Teeny going in. There's the siren sounding.
Well, let's cut even the score, Brian. He's going to get a kick.
Donkin is the player to
Not a
take the
bad
kick.
fella to kick it either.
Can't kick it.
Donkin walking back has tackled extremely well. Received the kick earlier in the game in that position, and here he is lining up the goals now. The siren sounded for the half-time interval. The kick from Donkin, right through the middle, and we level the scores at half-time in the grand final of Subiaco Oval. Perth 8 goals 10, East Perth 8 goals 10. It's up sticks at half-time. 46,774 the previous record, and it looks as if we must have something like 47,000 people here for the game today. The ball above umpire Montgomery's head for the signal to the timekeepers, and we start the second half of the grand final. Up go the ruckman. Players trying to force it out of the centre. Down it goes towards the half-forward line for Perth. Pike coming up from the flank, taps the ball over his head into the hands of Sydney Jackson. Goes back through the pack and gets away with it too. Drop kicks the ball towards the half-forward line. Ray Lawrence dropping back for Perth. Safely takes the mark. Ray Lawrence on the right half-back flank for Perth. Up towards the wing position with the kick. Onto the chest up there of Page. Now Page on the right centre wing to drive the Demons forward. The drop kick from Page right up towards the full forward zone it goes. A big pack in the air once again. Bradley Smith bursting out from the back pocket, loses possession of the ball. Hips and shoulders going in on the half-forward line. Estoni gets it off the ground and puts it onto the chest of Brian McGregor, the East Perth fullback. McGregor in the left fullback pocket. Gets this ball out towards the half-back flank. Players high in the air again. Down it comes to the ground. Picked up there by Jancy. Drop kicking up to the full forward zone. Sitter is missed there by Ramshaw. Picked up here by East Perth. They get out of trouble. Drop kick towards the wing position. Gary Gillespie behind the pack. Takes the mark. Plays on quickly. Down towards the half-forward line. Ray Lawrence in front. Shields going after the ball close to the boundary line, pops it onto the boot, and it's over the line and out of bounds.
Well, that was the biggest hitter I've seen Ramshaw drop for a long time. He's certainly very heavily strapped. Whether that had anything to do with it or not, I don't know.
Now the throw, almost on the wing position. Ruckman set once again, Chiddleborough and Malcolm Brown down towards the boundary line. Bandy going after it, closely attended, and over the line again for another throw. Perth in this quarter kicking with the aid of the breeze to the right of your screen. Chiddleborough gets the tap into this one. Murray going after the ball for East Perth, closely attended by Paddy Dalton. The hand pass over to John Bandy. Bandy drop kicking down towards the half-forward line. Here's Donkin dropping back behind Lawrence to take the mark safely for East Perth at left half-forward. Donkin going on quickly. Drives the ball up to the full forward zone. Players settling themselves up there. Horn almost pulling it down. Windsor is there with him. Players trying to force it out of the scrum about 25 yards out from the East Perth goal. And umpire Montgomery on the spot to have a bounce down. Three Perth players flying after the knock, picked up by Philip Horn, shovels the ball out to the pack. After it goes Cable, picking up now is Malcolm Atwell. Atwell gets the boot into the ball towards the centre of the ground again. Page goes high over the top of Murray. The race on here. After it goes Gillespie. Right behind him is Brio. Gillespie gets around to get the ball back towards Donkin on the half-forward line. Knocked away there by Lawrence. They're battling for the ball on the ground. Donkin trying to come out with it. Brio is there with him. In the back says the umpire, trip, and the kick is to go the way of Keith Donkin, midway between the left centre wing and the left half-forward flank position for the Royals. East Perth have the ball into attack into the breeze. The score's level here in the first opening minutes of the second quarter, 8 goals, 10 apiece.
There's Donkin's kick towards the centre half-forward position. Phil Tierney high in the air, can't take it. Picked up by Carl Behrman, in towards the full-forward area. McCulloch here, battling with Edwards. McCulloch, 44, picked up by Mal Atwell, coming out towards the half-back line. There's Atwell bringing the ball away for Perth, kicking to the centre of the ground. Paddy Dalton, back to Atwell. Tackle by Sid Jackson. Peter Krepp, number 8. Sid Jackson, number 9. There's Krepp getting his foot to the ball, kicking towards centre half forward. Jancy and Haynes. Haynes coming through for East Perth. Well picked up there by Jim Haynes and kicking to centre half forward. Chenelborough can't see for the Sun, and it's knocked away by Behrman. Over to Donkin. Hotly attended there by Ray Lawrence. The pressure's on now in the third quarter of this grand final. A kick from Lawrence to the centre of the ground. Sid Jackson. Jackson battling his way through there. The bounce beats him. Back comes Chadwick. Umpire Montgomery will bounce the ball in the centre of the ground. 8-10 to Perth, 8-10 to East Perth. The crowd expecting great things in the second half. There's the bounce down once again. Chittleborough and Kevin Murray. Peter Krepp played a good game on the wing, this boy. Up towards the half-forward line. Knocked away by Haynes. Coming through with great dash, this fellow. Kicking the ball towards Barry Jennings. But it won't reach him and over the line and out of bounds on the far side of the ground.
Well, East Perth are certainly playing a lot better football than Perth. Perth to me look like they're in trouble. They seem to can't be able to go on with it.
They looked more tired to me too, Jack, from the second half start.
There's Kevin Murray taking East Perth into attack towards the half-forward line, but Bob Shields comes in to take a well-judged mark. Bob Shields, the Perth centre half-back, getting out of trouble towards the centre of the ground. Not allowed that mark. Come off about 3 players, but play on, and the ball goes up to Greg Brio. Up towards the forward line. There's a good kick from Brio, but offline and through for 1 point. The first score in this third quarter to put Perth a point in front. Perth not showing as much dash as you said, Jack, in this quarter.
I was looking at Mal Atwell. He certainly, to me, looks rather a spent force. Doesn't look fit since he's come out, and he's gone quiet since that earlier mix-up.
Here's McGregor, swinging play towards the grandstand side now. Missed there by Pike. Chance here for Bradley Smith. He's in the back pocket. Can't pick it up. Very close to the line. And the ball forced out of bounds in that right full forward position for Perth.
They don't seem to be under as much pressure, Jack, when they gather in the ball as what they, should be in a grand final.
There's a knock picked up by Jancy. Over to Frank Pike. A right footer in towards full forward. Missed there by McGregor. Here's a great chance for Perth. Early in the square. Graham Ramshaw. The hand pass back in. It's in the square now for Perth. Jerry Smithall trying to bring the way. Finally socket off the ground. Picked up by Jancy.
Yeah.
But a poor kick by Jancy goes out of bounds at left full forward. Well, Perth wasting many opportunities with this very strong breeze. 6 minutes into the third quarter.
Throw to come in the left full forward pocket of the Perth. Ruckman go high again. East Perth get the tap into it this time. Out towards the boundary line. Picked up here by Barry Cable, around onto the left foot, screwing it in front of the goals again. The pack setting themselves there. No one can effectively bring it down, and they force it through for another point to Perth and take them away to a 2-point advantage. 8 goals, 12, leading East Perth 8 goals, 10.
I think what's wanted at this stage, Jack, is somebody to do something outstanding to lift the whole side.
From the kick into McGregor to the centre half back position, almost marked there by Shields, picked up by Dalton, driving it back towards the goal. And from the boot of Dalton, we get yet another point to Perth. And that takes them to a 3-point advantage, 8-13.
Well, as you said, Perth need Cable to do something quick, or Jensen, because the rest of their players just seem to me to be pretty leg weary at the present moment.
McGregor to bring the ball into play again for East Perth. Players are gathering out on the far side of the ground, the direction to which McGregor kicks this one, the drop kick. No one can bring it down. Stoney trying to burst his way through there. The hand pass going over towards Jancy. Picked up by Jensen, snapping onto the boot. East Perth defenders. Bradley Smith trying to bring it away from the goal square there. Murray battling also. In goes Jim Haynes of East Perth. Eventually gets a boot into it over the line and out of bounds, and a throw again in that left full forward pocket. King Kevin and the Royals. The sign there as the throw comes in that position in the left full forward pocket. Whistle sounding down there from umpire Montgomery, and the kick is to go the way of East Perth in that back pocket position. Philip Horn, the player to take it for them. Out it goes towards the half-back flank. Players in the air again. Over the line, and once more a throw-in on the left half-forward flank position for East Perth.
Jack, East Perth using that three-way ruck change again.
Yes, and quite effectively too.
Perth trying to burst their way out with the ball again. Page was the player attempting to go through the pack with it, and again it's carried over the line and out of bounds, and another throw-in.
The boundary line pretty well too along there in this quarter.
Another chance for the ruckman. Up they go. Philip Horn gets the tap into it this time, taken by Perth there. Over towards the centre half-forward position. Paddy Dalton going after the ball. He drives it down to the full forward zone. Knocked away by Bradley Smith on the pocket. Ramshaw picking up, getting around that heavy strapping onto the left foot. The kick from Ramshaw. It's away again, though, and out of bounds, or a point. Another point to Perth, and away they go to 8 goals 14. 8-14, leading East Perth 8 goals 10, and the able work McGregor to take another kick into play.
I think East Perth realise they've got the strong breeze in the last quarter, Jack, and they're quite content to hold Perth to, you know, less the score as they can.
There's a drop kick. Again from McGregor. Perth in the front position this time in the pack, pulling down the mark. Ray Mills was the player out on the half-forward line, and Mills to take the...
Ray Mills to take the kick on the half-forward flank, well within kicking distance. 8-14 Perth, 8-10 East Perth, and here's Ray Mills taking the kick. Off the side of his boot, when it gets in towards the square. Back again towards the flank. Frank Pike overruns the ball. Socket off the ground there by Bancroft. Back towards the centre of the ground. McGregor well down from his position. Two Perth players collide. Paddy Dalton, tackled by Kevin Murray, holding the man, says umpire Montgomery.
Definitely right. He didn't have the ball and he was grabbed. 100% correct.
Thank you, Fred Woods. Pat Dalton just forward of the centre position. Had a great duel with Jackson all day, and here's the Perth centre man. Going for the short pass towards Jensen and finding him on that half-forward flank. And Jensen, another short pass towards Cable, and Cable takes the mark. A beautiful mark there to Cable.
It's a pretty gutsy one. He had to turn his back on everybody, didn't he, and get in there. If Jack...
Could have set him up properly then, Ted, with that kick.
And he had a couple of East Perth players coming on. Here's the Perth rover to take his kick. He's kicked 4. There's the left foot torpedo punt kick, and right through the middle for a very valuable goal to the Demons.
Well, Bob, I think they certainly need something like this to lift their flagging spirits a bit. They've got a pretty strong breeze, and if they can't keep peppering the goals and get 5 or 6 in front here, well, I reckon they're in bother.
There's the first goal to Perth in this third quarter. The score's now at 9-14 Perth, 8-10 East Perth. Perth kicking towards the Subiaco end with the advantage of a very strong breeze. And there's the bounce down once again. McCulloch and Stoney. Stoney gets the tap. He's been a good ruckman for Perth. Keith Donkin, he's had many kicks, this fellow. And passing further afield, through comes Atwell, punches the ball away. Picked up by Peter Krepp. Krepp's kick goes towards the half-forward line, and a good mark there to young Bancroft. Kicks the ball back to the centre. Atwell there with Donkin. Overrun by Jackson. Over to Gillespie. Can't get through the pack. It's using plenty of pace here, weaving through, and finally kicks the ball towards Barry Jennings. He fumbles. Over the back, says umpire Montgomery. And Barry Jennings will take the kick on that half-forward line for the Royals. Reserve player who came onto the ground in the first quarter. Barry Jennings kicking into a very stiff breeze. High in the air, the ball goes about 30 yards. A chance for Donkin. Missed by Donkin. Play on to the umpire. Back to McCulloch. He's on the half-forward line. Taking a risk there, trying to burst his way through. Does so, gets his foot to the ball. A chance for 2 East Perth players, and Mel Brown has taken the mark. 15 yards out in that left full forward pocket. Well, he's on a very acute angle here, nearly on the boundary, as Mel Brown takes his kick as we're 12 minutes into this quarter.
Getting around there for the right foot kick and brings it back too far, and it's through for 1 point to East Perth. They move along now to 8 goals 11, 8-11, trailing Perth 9 goals 14.
The idea was all right there, Ted, but the execution wasn't so good.
I think he was a little bit quick on his approach after he did run off, but it was a good idea. It's a nice kick
in from Mel Windsor. A beauty, Ted, right up towards the centre of the ground. Players high in the air there. Edwards claiming the mark for Perth and has been awarded it by umpire Montgomery. A drop kick from Edwards puts Perth into attack towards the centre half-forward position. Frank Pike pulling down the mark behind the pack for Perth. 2 kicks, and here's Pike going back almost within kicking distance from the centre half-forward position. Breeze still blowing as strong as ever to the Subiaco end of the ground, and Pike with it behind him now to take his kick. Gets it up in the air, and there's the kick from Frank Pike away to the right-hand side, and another point goes on the score to the Demons. 9-15, the Perth leading East Perth 8 goals 11.
Pike kicked a goal from there early in the game, Brian, about a 65-yarder.
Again, we have McGregor to bring the ball into play for East Perth. Kicks it off this time, and coming out towards the grandstand flank. Gets onto the board. It could be straight out of bounds. It is 2. Over the line it goes, and the resulting kick looks as if it will go to Greg Brio down there.
He played on, Brian.
Oh, he played, of course he did, yes. The throw in front of the grandstand. Up goes the ruckman again. East Perth getting hold of it through Bancroft. Up towards the wing position it goes. Teeny going after it. Dummies around onto the left foot looking for John Bandy, and finds that player. Bandy almost on the left centre wing. Bandy working the ball down towards Gillespie. Dalton arriving on the scene, and they take it over the line and out of bounds. East Perth have worked the ball down almost to their left half forward flank position. Throw in coming again. Edwards in the front position, gets the tap down. Cable going after the ball, twists nicely out of trouble. The hand pass over to Brio. Brio driving it up to the full forward zone for Perth. Ramshaw after the ball there. Gently trying to come out with a 2. Over eventually to Ramshaw. He hand passes over into the open spaces. About 30 yards out from the Perth goals. Players battling for possession of the ball. No one can do much with it until eventually Donkin gets hold of it, gets it up towards the centre of the ground. It's all Perth there, though. And the mark is safely taken by Peter Krepp. Krepp plays on quickly, looking for Cable, finds that player. Cable is dragged to the ground without the ball and will take the kick on the half-forward line for Perth.
Wasn't much risk about that one, Fred.
No worries at all, Jack. For all as easy, that would be okay.
He can't kick this, can he, Jack?
I don't know what this bloke can do.
Let's watch it. The drop kick from Cable. It's a beauty too, right up to the full forward zone. A punch swung at the ball by Bradley Smith, and it's through for another point.
A lot of those players down there then didn't seem to relish wanting to pick up the ball. They were all playing around with it and tapping it on rather than picking it up and being positive with it.
See the full-back swung his pockets now in this quarter. They're kicking out of this grandstand side.
There's Brian McGregor's kick out towards a grandstand flank, towards a half-back line. Chance here for Perth, picked up by Mal Brown. Kicking towards the centre wing. Oh, aim for the boundary, and that's the way it went. Out of bounds on the right half-forward line for the Demons. On the ball, Kevin Murray and Mel Brown, and Patastoni for Perth. Barry Cable in there. Keith Donkin. There's the kick towards the wing. Bob Shields and Phil Teeney, with Shields in front, will be awarded the mark. Bob Shields, a centre half-back, battling well there with Phil Teeney and taking a very good mark. Another young player for Perth, also playing in his first grand final. He's behind him, kicking the ball towards the half-forward line. Jancy there. But the ball goes right in the arms of Bradley Smith, waiting at the back. He's played well in defence, this fellow, all day. There's his kick, and once again the ball goes out of bounds.
They're doing everything.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I was out there with Raymond Johnny at the moment, I'd look for one that looked really good and peg it, because otherwise he's going to get in a bit of trouble here in the last quarter if he doesn't.
There's a game going on once again, and Gillespie to take your mark right inside, just on the line there, on that left half back line. Well, he's first struggling to get this ball down towards the grandstand wing against this very strong breeze. The kick from Gillespie goes towards the centre of the ground. Tierney and Shields once again, and once again Bob Shields takes the mark. A good pair of hands on this lad.
It's a nice type, Bob.
Playing his first full season of league football, only 18 years old. There's the kick towards centre half forward. And Bradley Smith once again takes the mark. There's the lead from Donkin, and once again the ball goes out of bounds.
I put him in Pentridge if he was in Melbourne.
There's no doubt about that. It was definitely a deliberate kick out of bounds in my book. Should have been penalised.
Well, perhaps next year the new law will be in Fred and they'll be able to penalise it. And there's the throw in once again, a big pack gathering there between the half-forward line and full forward line for Perth. Barry Chittlebone and Mel Brown. Patastoni, and over the line once again. 9-16 Perth, 8-11 East Perth, and this quarter tamed down a little bit to what the second one was. There's a throw in once again. Donkin scouting well, very close to the line, picked up by Breho. And there's Bradley Smith once again. Taking many marks for the match.
Well, they're
certainly saved East Perth on many occasions.
allowing to be forced into that pocket, Bob. They just try and get it out. Perth is swinging over the other side of the ground, I think.
Well, this time it's come out towards the centre of the ground and right in the arms of Pat Dalton. Dalton plays on. Over to Pike. He's on his left foot. Kicks high towards that left full forward pocket. Picked up by Jensen. He's about 20 yards out, snapping onto the boot. This one will be close, but offline once again. And a further point as we're 18 minutes into the third quarter.
A very inspiring football, Ted, of the last 5 minutes.
Well,
side going with a breeze.
This quarter, no, Jack. I think what you mentioned earlier, that Perth look a tired side, and probably that game, that rest last week, should have done them the world of good. But East Perth have been attacking into this breeze and have been more constructive with their play, which means coming home with this strong breeze is going to make it a lot easier for them.
McGregor electing to run on again. Goes to the far side of the ground this time. There's the drop kick to the half-back flank. Attack in the air. Perth pulling down the ball. Ray Mills is the player on the left half-forward flank with the ball. It's Mills coming in to take the kick for Perth. Plenty of distance in this one too. Once again, it's away to that left-hand side, and another point on the board. A disappointing string of points now to Perth, and they move along to 9 goals 18, leading East Perth 8 goals 11.
Jack, I think the full-back's in a bit of a dilemma which side to kick the ball.
Well, McGregor's playing it pretty well. He's having a little tap first and then having a run, and if it does go out of bounds, he doesn't get penalised, and he's using it quite effectively, switching sides.
McGregor again to bring it into play for East Perth, going to the far side of the ground again for this one. Drop kick pulls up very shortly in the air. There's Haynes getting a boot into it for East Perth. Donkin going after it too towards the centre of the ground, runs into Dalton, gets the kick into it now out towards Jackson in the open spaces on the right centre wing for East Perth. There's the centre man driving it down towards the half-forward line. Shields and Teeny behind the pack it comes. Teeny getting the ball out again over towards Chadwick. Bursting through though again as Shields to relieve the position for Perth and puts a long kick up to the centre half-forward position for the Demons. This is picked up behind the pack again by Smithall. Back towards the centre of the ground again and right onto the chest of Ray Mills of Perth.
Sink your boot into it.
Mills is backward of the centre half-forward position. Took Ted Whitten's advice, and a long one right down to the goal square again it goes. Players battling on the edge of the square. Jensen trying to gather it. East Perth defenders trying to force it out. They're on top of it, right on the square line down there. There's a ball underneath them. And umpire Montgomery to bounce the ball down 10 yards out from the Perth goal. Chittlebarra going in. Hips and shoulders, boots, players trying to force it out of the front of the goals. It's in the open spaces now. Jensen going in strongly for Perth, comes out with the ball too, shoots it over in front of the goals once again. Let's wait on this one, it's another point to Perth, and they go to 9 goals 19. 9-19, East Perth 8 goals 11.
Well, a very long string of points now to Perth, wasting valuable time with this breeze. Brian McGregor once again to take the ball to the far side of the ground. Oh, a bad kick from McGregor, but right in the arms of young John Bandy. Playing very close to the goal, so a lot of players had their back turned when that ball was kicked. And luckily for East Perth, John Bandy took the mark. No leads offering, but he's going to kick it long towards the far side of the ground, but it's all Perth out there. Peter Krepp. On towards Cable.
Turn it up.
Cable awarded the kick.
To get out of it. Handballing was bad for a start, and then the handball itself was a bad hand pass.
Well, here's the Perth Raver to take his kick on the left half-forward line. Here's the drop kick. It's a beauty right in towards full forward.
Oh, beautiful.
There's a Perth mark. It could be
Stoney, Bob.
Yes, Patastoni. High in the air with those big hands to take the mark in that left full forward pocket. Well, Perth will wait on this one to see if Patastoni can put it through for their 10th goal, and they certainly need it at the moment. Well, he's not on a very acute angle. He should certainly kick this one. There goes the boot, and he's hit the post. Well, there's the luck of the game. Stoney about 20 yards out, and he's hit the post.
Well, they're gone. Perth, I reckon they're in real trouble.
Well, there's advice from Jack Sheedy halfway through this third quarter.
110 in this quarter, Bob, to Perth.
110. Brian McGregor kicking once again towards the outer side. The wind blowing that ball back. Abel once again trying to battle his way through, very close to the line. And the ball out once again. 9 goals 20 Perth, 8 goals 11 East Perth. and about 20 minutes gone in this third quarter. Big Mel Brown, number 1. Janzi having a run there now. On the half-forward flank for Perth, very scrambly play at the moment. In the pocket, picked up by Smithall. Out towards the flank. There's a chance for East Perth. Chadwick trying to come through. Gillespie it was, picked up by Mel Brown. And there's the kick towards the half-forward line to Jennings, but once again the ball goes out of bounds. Out of bounds between the centre wing and right half-forward line for the East Perth side. Philip Horn on the ball there, opposed to Barry Chittleborough and Bob Shields. Shields gets the tap. Goes towards Jensen, who waits on it. Tackled by East Perth. Picked up by Tierney. And there's a kick towards the half-forward line towards Mel Brown, and he takes the mark. Mel Brown, the big East Perth ruckman, taking the mark on that half-forward line. Slowing the game down. East Perth kicking against the breeze, sees a short one in towards Bandy. And Bandy has marked about 45 yards out from goals, directly in front. Well, Mel Windsor warning John Bandy there. There's a drop kick from Bandy in towards full forward. It'll drop short. Picked up by McCulloch in that left full forward flank. He's got no one to kick it to. He's battling on the ground with
holding the ball.
Holding the ball, says Ted Whitten, but umpire Montgomery says otherwise, and he'll bounce it to that left full forward pocket.
He was in possession. He grabbed him by the guns.
He couldn't do much else with it. He was laying prostrate on the ground. I think it was fair enough bounce up.
There's the bounce down once again, about 20 yards out from the East Perth goal. Bill Lucey over to Graham Jensen. And Perth get out of trouble up towards the wing. Bancroft there battling with Pike. Jancy back to Kevin Murray. He's on the half-back flank. Murray there battling with Perth player. Kicked by Bancroft towards Donkin, and Donkin takes the mark. Donkin kicking out towards the half-forward flank. Jackson there, number 9. Back to Donkin. Played well, this fellow, all day. Here he comes towards the half-forward flank, but not getting much assistance. Ray Lawrence. Held to him, says umpire Montgomery, and the ball always bounced on the half-forward flank as we're 25 minutes in.
Ruckman ready for the bounce down again. Chittleborough flying there, with him as Teeny. Shields gets the tap into it. Here's Mills trying to come out with the ball. Picked up there by East Perth. Chadwick coming up with it. The hand pass going over to Teeny at centre half forward. Atwell coming up to meet him. Teeny gets around him. The hand pass over to Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown onto the boot. This is high in the air. Land right in the goal square. Big pack underneath the ball. No one can get hold of it. Players battling to bring it out. A boot out to the half-back line for Perth, and it's picked up there by Lawrence. Lawrence onto the boot. Up towards the centre of the ground into the hands of Chittleborough. Chittleborough going on with the game for Perth. The kick is smothered by Murray. In comes Sydney Jackson for the Royals. Murray going back into. Too high is the...
How about that one?
I thought it was a good decision. I thought it was a good decision from Ray Montgomery.
There's Mills to take the kick. 26 minutes of play gone. Down to the centre half-forward position goes the kick for Perth behind the Pakistani. Taps it over to Jensen. He runs straight into an East Perth defender. Bradley Smith handballs into the open spaces. Beerman going after it on the half-back flank for East Perth. It's a poor old kick though up to the wing position. Coming across is Paddy Dalton. He's caught. Over it goes to Mills. Back again to Lawrence. Perth to the centre half-forward position again. There's a sitter dropped once more. Chittleborough regathering it. Over it goes to Cable. Cable on the half-forward line, gets it over to Krepp, taken by Mills. Mills puts Perth back into attack again to their half-forward line. Picked up here by Ramshaw, gets around and drives it up towards the goals. This one's away to the left-hand side once again, and another point goes on the score to Perth to make them 9-21. An East Perth player flat on the deck on the half-back line in the hands of the trainers. Here's the kick in again for East Perth. Out to the half-back flank it goes. Pike and Bancroft going after the ball through their fingers and out of bounds. A throw in front of the public stand at Subiaco.
5 trainers and a runner attending Donkin.
East Perth bringing it away again from the half-back line. The kick up towards the wing position. Bandy and Lawrence coming well up from the half-forward line, and Bandy pulls down the mark on the left centre wing for East Perth. Donkin still in the hands of the trainers down there on the half-forward line as Bandy brings the ball forward from the left centre wing for the Royals. Malcolm Brown is there. Wins are there too. Paddy Dalton coming out with the ball. There's
No report.
What about that?
Montgomery waving his finger at them. Down it goes to the half-back line again, and the mark is taken by Philip Horn down there. 28 minutes of play gone.
Well, there's some desperate passages of football there.
No report, Fred.
I don't think he saw that one, Ted.
Oh, turn it up.
There's a kick towards the wing now. Well marked there by Bob Shields once again. Playing well in the this quarter, this fellow. Using his great marking ability. Donkin resting in the forward pocket there, being taken down by the trainers. And there's the kick from Shields towards the half-forward line. Very little time left in this third quarter. And there's a free kick to Perth. In the back to go the way of centre half-forward Max Jancy.
Donkin's in a bad way down here, Bob, in the pocket.
He certainly is, by the look of him, Brian. He's played a very good game for East Perth too. 9:21 Perth, 8:11 East Perth, and Max Jancy to take his kick on the half-forward line. It's a good kick, this fellow. He could get the distance. There's a good drop kick from Jancy, right up towards the square, but offline and through for a further point to the Demons. 29 minutes gone in this third quarter, and certainly many, many points kicked. Keith Donkin still on the ground there in the hands of 3 or 4 trainers. Trying to keep him on the ground for that vital last quarter. Brian McGregor kicking once again to the far side of the ground. Jerry Smith all in front, can't take it. And there's the siren. Great battle going on over there as the siren sounds for 3/4 time. Perth, 9:22-76. Lead East Perth, 8:11-59.
The quarter's not going to help them, although I wouldn't give them away.
There's the bounce down from umpire Montgomery. Philip Horn goes high to get the tap into the ball. It's picked up there by Page, out towards the half-forward flank position for Perth, and over the line there and out of bounds. A throw at right half-forward. Perth into attack from the opening bounce of the final quarter. Kicking into the breeze with a throw in again. Horn and Chittleborough opposed. East Perth trying to bring it away here. Coach Murray comes out with it, drives it up to the centre half-forward position. Bounce beats Shields. This allows Teeny in. Teeny swings the hand pass up towards the centre half-forward position. Bill Lutzy coming up from the back pocket. Handballs over towards Trepp. Trepp going after the ball, trying to tap it over to Cable. It's a scrum at centre half-forward, and umpire Montgomery will have a bounce down on that position. Centre half-forward for East Perth. Ruckman up again. Quickly onto the boot of Chadwick, down towards the full forward position. Lawrence is there for Perth. He gets it onto the boot. Taken by Philip Horn in that position. Closely attended there by Shields. Horn trying to get a boot of the ball, goes around eventually and puts it out of bounds in the left full forward pocket for East Perth. East Perth down in their full forward zone. The throw in to come in that left full forward pocket position. The ball being relayed out of this big crowd, which certainly looks like a record of over 47,000 people here at Subiaco for the 66 Grand Final. Ruckman again go up. Chittleborough gets the tap into it, picked up by East Perth. Snapped over towards the goals once again. Malcolm Brown going after the ball, and it's out of bounds again, right next to that point post in the left full forward pocket. .29 there is Barry Chittleborough, ready for the throw-in. With him is 18, Philip Horn of East Perth. Set once again. Picked up here by Horn, can't do much with it again, and again it goes over the line and out of bounds.
I'm not keen on those tactics of Mal Atwell leaving that fella stranded out there in the half-forward flanks to create a loose man.
Neither am I. He's trying to get the half-forward here to come down and cover him while he goes in and keeps perhaps forcing the ball out in that pocket.
Here's Perth bringing it away from that back pocket position. Bill Lutzy was carrying it away. Over to Lawrence it goes. Over now to Mills, carrying the ball up towards the right centre wing position for Perth. He puts it up towards their half-forward line, up to Stoney coming up fast from the pocket. Here's Bradley Smith, who's defended well for East Perth. Gets it over to Murray. Murray turns straight into a Perth player. Mills going back and after the ball for Perth. Off the ground eventually by the Demons. Stoney going over there. Has the ball in his possession. Gets it over now to Pike at right half forward. Frank Pike in the clear. The drop kick up to the full forward zone, looking for Jensen and finds that player. Jensen marking safely in the right full forward pocket. Here's Graham Jensen to take the kick from that pocket position. Right over in front of the goals it goes. Ramshaw almost taking the mark. Picked up by Duffy behind the pack. It's bouncing away to the half-back flank.
Here's a race on for the ball. First is Peter Krepp over the half-forward line, in towards the forward pocket. Picked up by Duffy. And Duffy's kick goes high towards the line, very close to the line, and out of bounds at right half-back. 9:22 Perth, 8:11 East Perth. And a great battle on to win this premiership flag of 1966.
What a wonderful chance there, Perth, Jack.
Could have kicked it if he'd have kicked the ball instead of handballing it, Ted. Young Crep would have paid dividends.
Umpire Des DeGrucci to throw the ball into play on the half-back flank. Barry Chittlebarrow and Mel Brown. Bob Page. Derek Chadwick. Can't get his foot to the ball. Desperate football now by both sides. Over to Peter Crep. There goes the kick towards the centre of the ground. Graham Bancroft. Hotly pressed by young Jensen up towards the wing. Ray Lawrence. Gary Gillespie, 17. Battling there with Lawrence. Over to John Bandy. He drops the ball. And that's the way it goes. Holding the ball to Ray Mills on that half-back flank. Well, both sides making many errors now, trying to force this ball forward towards their forward area. East Perth kicking with the breeze. And here's the kick from Ray Mills. Out towards the wing. Murray in there, can't take the mark. Picked up by Dalton. Towards the flank. Jim Haynes ran into cable end, but many knocks have been taken in this game, and up players are still going, and the ball out of bounds once again. There's the throw-in on the far side of the ground. Patterstonian and Mel Brown. A good knock by Mel Brown. Up goes Beerman towards the centre of the ground, and there's the kick towards the half-forward line. Knocked away by Perth. Picked up by Shields. The hand pass to Dalton, and Perth get out of trouble towards the centre of the ground. Greg Briho playing on the half-forward flank now. And there's the kick, a long kick towards Jensen, and Graham Jensen takes the mark.
Get in the goal. But no one to kick it.
No one down there, they're all going up the ground.
Why don't they come down here?
Good advice coming here from Ted Whitten and Jack Sheedy, but there's Jensen taking the kick. A high kick in towards the square.
There's no one there.
Graham Ramshaw nearly brought that one down. It's nearly in the square and sock it off the ground for 1 point to the Demons. 9 goals, 23, 76. 8 goals, 11, 59, and McGregor's kicked out towards the flank, towards Mel Brown. This by Brio, over to Jensen.
Free kick.
Yes, the free kick.
Got to get it, Fred, that's right.
That's a good decision. It was right spot on.
Graham Jensen to take the kick on that half-forward flank. Well, Perth, although they're kicking against the breeze, are certainly fighting on in this last quarter. There's Ramshaw leading well out from his goals. Missed that one. Kevin Murray trying to battle his way through. He was held. And that's the way the kick will go to Kevin Murray. And 6 minutes into the final quarter.
Here's the East Perth captain Cage to bring that ball away from the half-back line for the Royals. The breeze behind him gets the ball up into the centre of the ground. Jackson there in the middle of the pack pulls down the mark for East Perth. Jackson to drive it into the forward territory for the Royals. Up towards the full forward zone it goes. The whistle sounding again for umpire Montgomery over the shoulder, he says down there, and the kick to go to Perth in the back pocket position. Lawrence is the player to take it. Short passes on to Bill Lutzy towards the boundary line out there. Beats him over the line and out of bounds, and the throw to come at left half forward for East Perth.
What chances?
9:23 Perth, leading East Perth 8 goals 11. Up go the ruckman again. Behind the pack, it's taken by Lutzy. Over to Cable, driving it up towards the wing position. Dalton going after it for Perth. He gets it up towards half forward. Here's Frank Pike underneath the ball for the Demons and safely takes the mark.
Get on your own.
Jancy calling for the ball at centre half forward, and that's the direction of the kick. Knocked away there by Jackson. Jancy gathering the crumbs again for Perth onto the boot. It's a high one to the centre half forward position. And there's Duffy taking a fighting mark for East Perth on the centre half back line. Duffy driving the ball to the right centre wing now for the Royals. The race is on here. After it goes Barry Jennings. Racing with him is Mal Atwell. The ball carried right up to the right half forward flank position under the public stand, and a throw in that position for East Perth.
Jack Mal Atwell hasn't used himself on the ball very much at all.
I don't think he's fit since that early knock. I don't think he's fired at all.
Throw in again. Taken behind the back by Perth. Page it is trying to break away with it. Gets the hand pass over to Peter Krepp on the left centre wing. Krepp drop kicks the ball out of bounds again, and a throw midway between the wing and half forward line. Looks as if Ramshaw may be coming off. Walk towards the boundary line with the trainer, and now going back into his position once again.
They're all a mile from goals, all Perth boys. When they bring the ball down there, there's no one to get it.
Throw in coming. Bradley Smith hand passes straight over to a Perth player.
Kick.
Clifford is driving the ball forward. Up towards Ramshaw and McGregor. Knocked away by Smithall. McGregor going after it for East Perth. Hotly pressed there by 2 or 3 Perth players. In comes Brio. Smithall up from the back pocket, gets it off the ground. Over towards Bradley Smith, shepherded by Chadwick, and Smith gets the ball up towards the right centre wing. Bounces over Atwell's head. Coming across there is Lawrence. He's met by Teeny. Perth carrying the ball towards the boundary line. Shields it is. Gets around and gets the boot up towards Page. Chadwick coming in to knock the ball away. Down towards Lawrence of Perth. Off the ground again. Mills going in here for the Demons.
There's a kick by Mills towards the centre of the ground, but it's all East Perth here. Gary Gillespie picking up. Kicking towards the forward line. Cable's up now and back into the game, and there's the kick towards the full forward area for East Perth. A big pack of players there. Picked up by Mal Brown, and there's the snap. 1 point. 1 point to East Perth to bring them 1 point closer to the Perth score.
Well, that is Tom Davis on the ground for Perth.
Tom Davis just come on the ground for Perth. He played in the 1955 grand final and the only player on the ground to do so.
Well, the pressure's really on now, Bob.
It's certainly desperate,
with both sides. East Perth with the breeze and Perth trying to get a score down this end.
There's a kick from Windsor out towards the public stand flank. Back comes towards full forward area. Knocked away, Phil Tierney, number 3, battling with Shields. Players very tired on both sides after a fairly grueling game. Bradley Smith, he's on the half-forward line. He can't pick it up, but here comes Chadwick. Vehement it was. Sydney Jackson. Picked up by East Perth and once again forced through for a point.
First goal will win the match.
9 goals, 23 Perth. 9-23, 77. 8-13, 61 East Perth. 16 points the difference. Mel Windsor taking his time. Kicking once again towards the centre of the ground. It's a missed kick. Pat Dalton high in the air. Play on to the umpire. Heavy knock taken by that player. Picked up by Page, and there goes the kick towards the centre of the ground. Frank Pike, 24. Through comes Ray Mills, showing plenty of pace, this fellow. Up towards the half-forward flank. Big Chittlebar and Murray. Kevin Murray. Well done there by Murray, and Murray kicks the ball back towards the half-forward line for East Perth. Bob Page. Over to Patastoni. Up towards Cable. He's in the centre of the ground. There's the... No, he picked it himself. He's going to take the hand pass. Here it comes to Greg Brio. Brio's kick going towards full forward. That's nearly in the square. Here's McGregor racing towards it. And McGregor gets East Perth out of trouble towards the half-back line. Bancroft out there. Jancy.
Oh, what's going on?
Jancy, number 18. Bancroft, 48. Kevin Murray. Some very tired players out there. John Bandy. Over to Gary Gillespie. And the Royals go forward towards the half-forward line. Up towards the full forward area now. The ball nearly in the square. Bill Lucey, number 4. And forced out of bounds in that right full forward pocket. Well, as we said before, desperate football with both sides throwing themselves into it trying to win this premiership. 77 points to 61 in favour of the Demons. And we're 12 minutes into the final quarter.
Here's that throw, deep in that right full forward pocket now for East Perth. Edwards and Brown opposed. Brown brings it down himself, snaps it onto the boot. Right on the edge of the goal square it goes. The big pack there fighting for possession. Philip Horn trying to come out with the ball. Hotly pressed there by Page. The whistle sounding. Yes, and it looks as if Philip Horn will take the kick.
Ooh, looked a bit dicky. I don't think Ray could see that one, could you? He was waiting for it.
Yeah, I think he was too, Jack. He seemed to get boxed in a little bit from the players there.
Here he is, Philip Horn, to take the kick directly in front of the goals, about 35 yards out. Onto the boot. And 1 point the result again. There's the one that could have put East Perth right in the firing line. Another point the result, and they go to 8-14, trailing Perth 9 goals, 23.
Yeah, Tom Davis could be thrown on the ball. He's playing at full forward.
He could be, Bob. I'd certainly use him. He's fresh. He'd do some damage, or even if he can play, but they can get the forwards playing all right.
Short pass from the kick into play is taken by Cable in the back pocket. Cable drop kicks the ball up to the public stand on the half-back line for Perth. East Perth player claiming the mark, handballing over towards Murray. Teeny going after the ball there too. Off the ground by Mal Atwell of Perth, up towards the centre of the ground it goes. Here the race is on. Haynes playing the ball in front of him. Lawrence coming up, taken by Gillespie. He's in trouble too. Lawrence following the ball up for Perth, is right up into the centre of the ground, kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Up from the pocket position.
Down now.
There's no one down there. Who's he going to kick
Barrow
it
of
to?
Perth to take the mark.
He's going to wait till they all get there.
Here's the kick from Chittlebarrow right up onto the full forward zone. In the front position is McGregor. Behind him, Tommy Davis, and McGregor takes the mark. A whistle sounding from umpire Montgomery.
With all the luck in the world, these Perth, they should win this game. Everything's running for them, Jack.
Well, Perth have had that many opportunities. They could have had it wrapped up even in this quarter, but they're still throwing them away.
Here's the kick in again from McGregor. Right up towards the centre of the ground it goes. Perth shoveled the ball over towards the Stoney. Picked up again here by Carl Bierman out towards the left half forward flank position. The race on here. Lawrence coming up from the half back line. Jackson there too. Lawrence taking the ball. Goes to the ground. Grabbed by Jackson. They're fighting for it out there on the half forward line. Over the line and out of bounds it goes. And the throw to come at left half forward for East Perth. After the ball again, Jackson here comes out of the pack with the ball. Up towards the full forward zone goes the kick. Lutzi in the front of the pack. Bursting out here is Mal Atwell of Perth, gets it onto the boot and drives it out towards that right centre wing position. Mills going after the ball. East Perth coming out with it again there. Gillespie it is, playing it close to the boundary line. Carrying it down to the half forward line for the Royals.
And finally Murray comes out with the ball over to Donkin. East Perth on that half forward line. There's the kick from Donkin in towards full forward. McCulloch, 44, knocked away by Perth in the right full forward pocket. McCulloch gets his foot to the ball, but it's out of bounds in right full forward. 9:23:77 Perth, 8:14 East Perth 62.
Perth are putting them all down there now. Jensen going on, Tom Davis going on the ball as well.
There's the boot from McCulloch, and once again the minor score to East Perth. Wasted opportunities, Jack, in that forward area.
Well, I think the players of both sides are so tired, Bob, they're coming at anything.
This wind's been certainly very strong to play against, but there's a reliable Lawrence kicking the ball towards the centre of the ground. Patterstone 5, picked up by Ray Mills, playing on the wing in this quarter. And Angus Horde has just come onto the ground for East Perth. Angus Horde, the 20th man, played a prominent part in last week, just running in towards where the ball is on the far side of the ground. Mel Brown on the ball now for East Perth. Tom Davis coming into all the big guns on the ball to try and win this premiership for their side. And there's the kick towards the half-forward line. Bradley Smith. Back to Bancroft. And East Perth go forward. You know what, was that a throw, Fred Woods?
I couldn't see that at all. I don't know what happened there, Bob.
Well, a lucky kick either way. A lucky decision could win this premiership. And there's the kick to Graham Jensen. Jensen taking the kick on the half-forward line. Played quite a good game for the Demons right through, and there's a kick towards full forward looking for Tom Davis. And there's a disputed mark. Play on, he says. Well, a very late decision there from umpire Ray Montgomery, and here's the ball bouncing towards the forward area and out of bounds at right full forward. A disputed mark there, both players in it, and finally umpire Ray Montgomery called play on. Here's the ball in the right full forward area for Perth. A great pack of players on the ball, as Stoney and Brown, but the whistle's gone once again.
Someone threw a beer can over the fence, I think, Bob.
But it wasn't full.
Well, some obstacle just removed by the trainer, and once again play goes on in that right full forward area for Perth. Tommy Davis coming out, hasn't got the ball. Through comes Donkin. And Donkin kicks the ball towards the half-back flank. Sid Jackson. Bob Page. Well, players can hardly lift their legs out there now. There's Donkin. Play on, says umpire Montgomery. Patterstone. A beautiful mark there to Patterstone. Great work there by the cameraman to capture that beautiful picture of the Stoney. Flew above the pack to take that mark, and we're 18 minutes in. This could seal the game for the Demons.
Bob, do you think he can get the journey? It's pretty hard kicking against that breeze.
And here's Stoney to take the kick. Let's watch it. The distance is there all right. We wait on the goal umpire, and it's right through the middle for the 10th goal to Perth, 10-23. Moving away now from East Perth in the final quarter.
Well, miracles sometimes happen, but that was one for Perth, I think. Bringing the ball down there, looked like there was a couple of very doubtful decisions, but Stoney took a screamer over the top of the pack and made full use of it.
That one of Donkin's, Fred?
Yes, one of Donkin's. I thought from here he could have been definitely holding the man. He never had the ball, and I thought it could have been paid.
Back in the centre of the bounce down once again. Perth driving the ball towards their half-forward line. Picked up here by Jancy. The hand pass going over to Pike. Pike driving it up towards the full forward zone. Smithall dropping back for Perth, for East Perth from the pocket. And it carries through pretty close to that post. Goes the wrong side for Perth. And another point on the board. Here's McGregor kicking the ball back into play very, very quickly. Gets it right up towards the centre of the ground. Mal Atwell trying to come out with it. Sidney Jackson there too. Atwell coming out with the ball. Knocked back by East Perth. The whistle sounding from umpire Montgomery, and Kevin Murray picking himself up off the ground. Looks as if he'll take the kick for East Perth.
Now that will come on the ball now, Brian.
Here's the East Perth captain coach trying to rally his side. About 19 minutes gone here in the final quarter of the 66th grand final, and Murray puts the ball up to the centre half forward position for the Royals. Sidney Jackson tapping it into the open spaces. Barry Jennings tapping the ball further up towards the goals. Picked up by Lutzi from the back pocket. He's met with a solid hip and a shoulder. Hips, shoulders, boots, everything going in up there on the half-forward line for East Perth. Players trying to burst out with the ball. No one can do very, very much with it. Picked up eventually by Page. It is of Perth. Up towards the wing position goes the kick. And it's on down there on the half-forward line. Umpire Montgomery is right on the spot there too. We'll wait and see what they sort out of this lot.
Tell you what, it's in Perth's favour. He's got to bring the ball down here and bounce it down here now, doesn't he?
Seventh kick.
Got to bounce it.
Yes, the bounce to go. Almost up in the centre of the ground. Play gets underway once again. There's the bounce down from umpire Montgomery. Murray coming out with the ball for East Perth. The hand pass going over towards Duffy. Duffy gets the kick up towards the half-forward flank position for the Royals. McCulloch going after it in front of the public stand, and it's over the line and out of bounds once again. Here's the throw-in on the right half-forward flank. Picked up here behind the pack by Sidney Jackson. Paddy Dalton coming in too to lend a hand in the back pocket for Perth. Hips, shoulders, everything going in there again. Jackson trying to burst out of the pack with the ball. They throw themselves in on top of it, and the bounce down again from umpire Montgomery.
Think Perth can hold on from here, Ted Whitten?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're having the luck in running now with these decisions given by the umpire, but still, they're not out of it, East Perth. The way things are going, Bob, yes, I think they can hold on now.
There's Perth getting out of trouble towards the half-back line. And umpire Montgomery blowing the whistle there to a water kick.
Going to give Atwell a kick, I think, Bob. Jensen.
Well, the kick is going the way of Jensen in that left full-back pocket. Couldn't see what it was from here, but here's the Perth rover to take his kick.
He should go to the boundary here.
And that's the way he's going. Over the boundary line and out of bounds on that left half-back line. 84 points to 63 in favour of the Perth side. Keith Donkin running towards the half-forward line, gets his kick towards full forward. Earlier mark to Melbourne, yes, it's been awarded. Melbourne, the big Perth, or Phil Teeney it looks like.
Phil Teeney, Bob.
Phil Teeney it is. Phil Teeney to take the kick between the right half forward and right full forward, and East Perth certainly need a goal here to keep them in the game. Phil Teeney kicking with the breeze, about 45 to 50 yards out. Taking deliberate aim, looks like it'll take the drop punt. The ball going goalwards. It looks good from here, and yes, there's a much-needed goal to the East Perth side to bring them back into the game.
Well, a good goal to Teeney there, and probably lifts the East Perth side somewhat. They've still got the use of this breeze, and they've still got time to win it.
Cable's kick 5 for Perth. Jensen 2, Ramshaw 1, and Pike 1. The main goal scorers for East Perth are Teeney 2 and Jackson 2. 84 points to 69, and there's a bounce down, and the crowd come to life. Big Chittleborough. Jensen pack of players in the centre of the ground. Frank Pike. Everyone's playing all over the ground now, and there's the kick towards the half-forward line. And there's a one-handed mark there by Brian McGregor. Had a step.
Well, you wouldn't think a Stoney could have kept that player out long enough to get the ball over to Cable. He just tapped it over to him, and the Mercurial Cable swung onto the left foot and put it through. That was a big lift for Perth.
Tell you what, Jack, I thought that was a fantastic piece of football from that number 19. Who's it? Teeny?
Stoney.
Stoney. I thought, you know, he could have, you know, under pressure tried to grab the ball and have an easy, quick shot, but he shepherded off for Cable, tapped it out to him and threw it win.
Well, Stoney's played a very good game for Perth, used his body well and had many, many knockouts. And here's East Perth going forward through Bancroft, up towards the half-forward line. But the Perth backs there, strong in the fence. Through comes Bob Shields. Used the elbow, said umpire Montgomery, and the kick will go the way of East Perth.
A very good decision too, Bob.
Keith Donkin had 19 kicks to three-quarter time and been a very valuable player for the Royals. 11:24 to 9:15 in favour of Perth. And East Perth certainly need a goal here to bring them right back. A good kick from Donkin towards the square. Perth playing with renewed confidence now. And there's the kick going the way of Perth. Tempest becoming frayed. A Guernsey pulled off. Bob paid there with his Guernsey off. And the kick going once again to Graham Jensen. Jensen kicking towards the outer flank. And there's Frank Pike running on the ball there, all on his own. Kick from Pike goes towards Paddy Dalton. Dalton back to Lawrence. Perth backing up very well all around, but that one's gone astray. Picked up by Gillespie. Up to the forward area once again. Missed by Winter. A chance here for East Perth. Over to Mal Brown. 20 yards out from goal. There's the snap kick. And it's through for another goal to the Royals. The game's not over yet.
Well, one to Brown there. Fred was I think Windsor got a decent one at the back, didn't he, after he went for the ball, and Monty couldn't see it. The sun was in his eyes, and Brownie capitalised on it.
I did, but Monty was running up the ground in with the play, Jack. He had no hope of seeing it.
Now 26 minutes of play gone here in the final quarter of the 1966 Grand Final. Perth 11-24, East Perth 10 goals 15, and the crowd really finding their voice once again. Here's the bounce down for umpire Montgomery right in the centre. Chittleborough gets the big punch into this one. Tapped back again by Haynes of East Perth. Edwards trying to gather it for the Demons. Gets the boot back to the half-forward line. Smithall almost pulling it down for East Perth. Cable breaking out with the ball. There's no one between he and the goals. No teammates, that is. Handball's over now to Brio. Brio snapping it up towards the goals. There's the drop kick.
Bad luck to Brio. Hit the post.
Hit the post.
Hit the post, and another point goes on the board to Perth. 11:25 now. Gregor bringing it into play very, very quickly again. Straight down the centre of the ground go East Perth now. Tapped back again by Perth. Here's Haynes coming up to take it. He gets it over the centre line. Philip Horn underneath the ball brings down the mark for the Royals.
He's played it. Play on.
Pulled down. Out it comes down towards the Cable. Cable handballing over towards Paddy Dalton. Dalton popping onto the boot looking for Brio. With him there is Duffy. Back again to Paddy Dalton.
They're tired, these players.
Duffy gets the boot into the ball down to the half-forward line for East Perth. McCulloch coming up there. He goes to the ground. Umpire Montgomery to bounce the ball down on the right half-forward flank position for East Perth. McCulloch trying to bring the ball out of the ruck himself, and again we'll have a bounce down from umpire Montgomery.
Dalton's running out of gas, and Brio's gone to the centre.
I think there's a lot more players too, Jack. Very, very tired out there.
Dalton off the ground.
There's a kick into the ball by a Perth player. Over the line and out of bounds it goes right in front of the public stand.
There's Paddy Dalton, a great player for Perth all the year, and again today off the ground.
Throw in again. Sidney Jackson trying to burst his way out of the pack there for East Perth. East Perth defenders coming away with the ball there. Onto the boot and out of bounds once again, and a throw in almost on the left centre wing position for Perth. There's about 4 players forward of the centre line into Perth territory as this throw comes backward of that left centre wing position. Knocked into the open spaces by a Perth player. After it goes Sidney Jackson of East Perth. Back to their centre half forward position. Through the hands of Shields. Page trying to burst his way through again. Here going out to the ball is Lawrence. He puts it onto the boot and out of bounds again in front of that public stand on the half-back line.
Well, they're certainly heading for the boundary, Jack. Now there's only a minute or so
They got it.
to siren time, and they're trying to hang on desperately.
The throw again. Tommy Davis high in the air there. East Perth getting a kick in the ball down towards their full forward zone. Ray Lawrence there again. Lutzi trying to burst his way through the pack with the ball.
Free kick to Lawrence, I think, Bob.
Jace umpire Montgomery didn't see it. Ray pulled himself a bit further back.
Here he is to take the kick from that back pocket position now. Very, very little time to go in this grand final. Out towards the half-back flank goes the kick. Chadwick getting a boot into it for East Perth. Back to that full forward pocket position. Bill Lutzi carries it over the line again and out of bounds for Perth. Time certainly running out now in this grand final. 30 minutes of play gone.
There's a throw-in in that full forward area. Teeny trying to burst his way through. There must be about 15 players. Here comes Tom Davis. A hand pass over to Frank Pike, and Perth get out of trouble once again towards the centre of the ground. Patastoni missed that one, but it goes to Greg Brio. Brian McGregor, he's the only one down this end of the ground, and there's the kick back towards centre half forward to John Bandy, and he takes the mark. Well, East Perth fighting desperately to get this ball forward. Time ticking away as John Bandy takes the kick at centre half forward, up towards the full forward area. Look at that pack there, high in the air. Nobody can take the mark. It's in the left full forward pocket. Bill Lutzi. And once again, the ball is forced over the line and out of bounds in that left full forward pocket. Been out of bounds many, many times today.
Any time now.
Mel Brown, number one. Tom Davis there, using his body. Perth playing it close to the line there. Bill Lutzi. There's another fight broken out that left full forward area.
Box on down in the pocket
But
here.
there's no report.
Tempers becoming frayed as this grand final draws to a close, with Perth 16 points in front. 31 minutes gone, and umpire Montgomery and the boundary umpires sorting the players out up there. Well, there must be at least 20 players on the ball there. Fred, would you stop the game and sort these players out at the moment, or is it too far gone?
No, I think he's well on top of it, Bob. I don't think he's worried about that. It was behind the play. He knows how to see what was going on, but all in all, he's got it well and truly under control. No worries.
Here's the throw in once again. Tom Davis in there with Mel Brown. Bill Lutzi. And there's Lutzi's kick towards the half-back line. And once again, the ball goes out of bounds. 11:25 Perth. 10:15 East Perth as this 1966 grand final draws to a close. Some very, very tired players out there. There's Kevin Murray in there trying to rally his side to get this couple of goals. Angus Horwood. A good kick from Horwood towards full forward in the pocket. Knocked away by Windsor. And out of bounds once again. But the boundary umpire certainly getting plenty of work out there. 32 minutes gone in this quarter. Won't be very much time to go at all. Mel Brown, number one. Picked up by Horn. Kevin Murray. There's Murray's kick towards full forward, but out of bounds once again. Well, it certainly looks like that Perth have this 1966 premiership in the bag at the moment. Philip Horn. Well, and there's the siren. And at this stage, we welcome the viewers at home here at the Subiaco Oval, where the grand final has just finished, and Perth have won their first premiership since 1955. Running out winners, Perth 11:25, East Perth 10:15.